Hi, I'm JimmyNavio. We're back at it. We were gone last week. I had to go to my sister's wedding, but I am here. I am back with my co-host, Mr. James28, for another. We still never came up with a name for this thing. Bucket Cast? Podcast? Jimmy's Jangles? I don't know. We'll think of something eventually. But we have some special guests today. I'm very excited. Last minute today, actually, I reached out to, one of them reached out to me. Mr. Red Marsh reached out to me and said, hey, I'm ready. Let's do this. And due to some of the subject matter, I thought, you know what? I'm going to grab ThatTwoTall because we're gonna talk about some roguelike stuff today. So they will be joining us here in just a moment. And like I said before, the young, the beautiful, the very talented Mr. James28, my co-host, will be joining us as well. That is all I have to say. I think that's all the introduction we need. We're gonna learn all about Red Marsh and ThatTwoTall today, though. I have some questions for them. I'm gonna go deep and hard, maybe wide. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and if they want to unmute themselves, we're gonna bring everybody in. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Howdy.
How you guys doing?
Oh, fantastic. Pretty good.
Good, man.
So,
That's great.
like I said, below me right here, this is Mr. Red Marsh. He is a streamer on Twitch. Red Marsh, if you have the Twitch chat open, my Twitch chat, you feel free to post your whatever. Plug yourself. You can put your Twitch, your Twitter, your YouTube, whatever you want to link in there. Let the people know who you are and what you're doing.
Your twatters.
Yeah, twat all over my chat right now. Hashtag twat my chat. I'm copywriting that right now, actually.
Your tweeters and your twitches.
So Red Marsh, you know what? I tried to internet stalk you, and I had a really hard time finding any information. I did discover a few things in some clips, so I'm gonna ask you a couple questions based on the little bit of information I did find, and then we're gonna have to figure out who you are. So what I've got, number one, you're half Japanese. Is this true?
This is true.
Okay.
Indeed.
I found that in like a clip or something. So most of these I was like from your Twitch, because I had trouble finding anything else. Let's see. There was a clip where you mentioned grad school.
Nice. Yeah.
Is that still
Indeed.
a thing? Or is that
Still
done
a thing.
now? Okay.
I'm still in grad school.
You also mentioned taking care of your grandparents.
Yes. I take care of my grandparents. Well, I moved out where I am right now, which is in Illinois, to I'm from California originally.
Ah, California. See, I knew I liked you.
Yeah, I'm a California boy, born and raised.
All right.
And I moved out here when I was about 23 to Illinois, and to take care of my grandmother, who had a second stroke at that time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was pretty debilitated, and my grandfather was the only one taking care of her, so he needed the extra help.
Okay. Well, that's amazing.
And now,
that's good.
Sorry,
No, keep
sorry
going.
to finish. My bad. And then recently, this last Christmas, actually, my grandfather had a stroke, and so I have been taking care of him for the last like 4 or 5 months. He's currently not here though, because my parents are taking care of him and my grandmother over the summer to take the load off of me, because I'm working 40 hours a week and taking like a summer school class.
Wow.
So yeah, so I don't really have time to take care of my grandfather right now.
Well, that being said, thank you so much for taking the time to come hang out with us. Like, sounds like your life is incredibly busy, so that means a lot. Thank you for being here. Now, do you mind me asking, these grandparents, are they the Japanese side or the...
Oh, no. Actually, these are my step-grandparents.
Oh, okay.
On my stepmom's side. So they are white. They're, I think, Irish Catholic with some German, which is interesting.
So where's the What was that? Your mother's white too? You're a little
Nice.
quiet, I think, ThatTwoTall. I'm gonna get your mic a little closer, maybe. Give us a test.
How's that?
Yeah, sexy. I like it.
Very good.
So where does the Japanese? What generation Japanese then? Are you like second generation? Like, do you still have people who only speak Japanese in your family? Like,
I don't really know much about the rules of how the generations work, but my grandparents were born in the U.S. Their parents were not.
So I think that's like second or third generation then.
Yeah. So my mom was born here from people who were also born here. So I speak no Japanese other than stuff like I think my mom taught me some really stupid curse words when I was a kid, which is silly that my mom would be the one to teach me that, but
yeah, I had a friend teach me. I thought he was teaching me I am cool, but he was actually teaching me I am an idiot, and I went around telling people that for years. I think it was watashi wa baka desu or something like that. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm pretty sure I was calling myself an idiot.
Yep, that's exactly what that is.
That's all.
Baka
That's
means idiot, and watashi wa means I am.
Right.
Essentially.
So that's all I've got. That's pretty cool. Have you ever traveled to Japan or done anything like that?
No, I haven't done any explore my heritage stuff.
Come on.
I don't have that kind of money, man, or that kind of time, but I will eventually.
Someday.
One day.
Yeah.
One day. I've heard the gringo culture. Obviously, that's not the correct term. What do they call them?
I'm okay with it. I think you're offending James by using that word, but
I might look white, but I'm Hispanic.
But the whole like foreigner bad mentality is like super strong in Japan from what I've heard. So if I were to go over there, I'd have to like, temper myself for that. I mean, it's not like they would say it to your face though. They just think stupid white person behind your back. So
yeah. All right, so last thing real quick. So I did want to ask you, what are you going to what is your course of study? You're in grad school?
My course of study is audit and advisory services, which is those are two sub branches of accounting. There are three primary types of accounting. There's audit, there's something known as advisory, which is an umbrella term for all the other stuff that don't fit into audit or tax. And yeah, the three: tax, audit, advisory. And advisory is just a bunch of shit like forensic accounting, which is catching bad guys. And
it's the everything else category.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And I mean, that's what I want to work in. I want to work in the everything else. I want to do forensics. I want to catch all the bad guys and, slap the cups on them.
Meshyf in chat says that hot accounting talk. I agree.
That is quite the coincidence. That is my major.
There you go.
Really?
Making connections.
That's sick.
The same emphasis or just accounting in general?
Oh, just accounting in general.
Okay.
Plan on pursuing it in grad school as a master's because to get your CPA, you need 150 credits.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
That's like kind of a given type situation. Right.
Well, hey, there you go. You can pay Red Marsh to write your papers for you. Because sounds like he's got all the experience you need. So yeah. Last thing, real quick, I wanted to do. Like I said, I did dive on you guys a little bit. So I have.
Sorry, fidgeting.
I went and looked at your top clip, and I thought it's a really funny little joke that you did, and I wanted to play it. It's kind of quiet, so you guys might have to turn your sound up a little bit. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny because I mentioned before how every once in a while he'll throw out like a little dry humor on his stream, and it just makes me giggle. So this is let me switch to my media view here. Oh, that's not the right view. Where's my browser? Oh, it's not turned. There we go. So here's the Red Marsh's top viewed clip.
Give me a pool ball.
Oh, it's really quiet. Let me turn it up in my mixer. Oh, it's up all the way. Oh, well. You're just going to have to deal with it. Turn up your sound, people.
Give me a pool ball. I'm going to throw those at your right at your chin, and then you're going to have to get jaw surgery, and your mother won't love you anymore. And your wife will leave you and cheat on you with your dog. Give me a pool ball.
I like that.
Throw those.
Just a silly little comment. Every once in a while, he slides them in there, and it's super awesome. So that's Mr. Red Marsh. He plays mostly Enter the Gungeon these days, right? I did see you had like a little Lara Croft in there and some Darwin Project, but primarily you play Gungeon these days, correct?
Yeah, I currently play Gungeon. I mean, I started streaming intending to be a variety streamer, but I don't know. I just kind of like I started with a couple games that didn't really stick with me, and then I started playing Gungeon, and I just became super addicted to the game. And so yeah, I mean, it's not something I'm gonna play. It's not the thing I'm gonna play forever until I die. But
No, but you're good at it, man.
The
Like
thing.
I definitely enjoy watching you, and I've learned a few things from watching you play it. So that's awesome. Oh, you know what? I didn't pull up I have a few quick fire questions for you, and I don't have them up. Give me 1 second here.
There
And-
sure
and-
are a lot of this is the last questions.
And Mark, be ready for some of these questions too. So you get a little more time to think about them.
Just tell me when to speak, and I will.
Red Marsh, what is your favorite curse word?
wow, that's a tough one. Maybe bag of dicks.
That's a good one.
Or I
Technically,
say
that's
turd
multiple
sandwich a
words,
lot.
but I'll give it to you.
It's all hyphenated.
It's
Yeah.
hyphenated.
Yeah.
What was the
Yeah.
other one?
I was gonna say turd sandwich is a thing I say a lot just because I think it's silly, and it just reminds me of the greatest episode of South Park of all time.
Turd sandwich. I like it. All right. What sound or noise do you love? Like, if there's a specific sound that every time you hear it, it just like can affect, like, it just boom, that noise just stops whatever you're doing. When you hear it, you're like, oh, that's that noise. It can be from a song, a game, a TV show. For example, our last guest, his sound was the hum of the lightsaber.
Interesting. That's another really tough question. Honestly, off the top of my head, the only thing I can think of just off the top of my head, I don't know if this is necessarily like a pleasant sound that just stops everything, but anytime somebody makes a farting sound with their mouth, just makes me giggle.
Just every time, doesn't matter.
Pretty much every time.
Awesome.
Every time.
Good to know. Last one. What are you not good at?
A lot of things.
But if you had to say one thing, like, I am just not good at that.
I would say maintaining friendships and relationships.
I was expecting a joke answer. That was deep.
It just, yeah, that was
sad.
real. That was real. What makes you feel that
But-
way? Now I'm
But
curious.
if we're gonna get a joke answer, I'm not very good at peeing in the dark.
That yeah,
Understandable.
I peed in a trash can once. I was sleepwalking when I was like in
I've done that.
6th grade. No, but now I gotta peel back that onion a little bit. Do you think are you an introvert by nature, or is it just because of how busy you are? Do you think, or
I don't like being alone, but I get overwhelmed by being around people too much because I'm constantly wondering if I'm doing well in the interaction or not. I mean, this is something that a lot of people probably couldn't tell right off the bat, but I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder as a kid. So I had like a really hard time making any sort of friends. Like I didn't have my first like real friend until I'd say probably late 7th grade, early 8th grade. Whereas before everybody was either trying to get something from me or trying to feel like better than me, essentially. Like I was a friend that made them feel better about themselves.
Wow, that's an incredibly thorough answer. So would you say that like, because I have a little bit of this as well. Sometimes I overanalyze myself, like I'm hyper aware. And I'm constantly like, even when I'm streaming, I'm always looking over at my OBS screen to see like, like, am I sitting, like, is my face centered on the screen? Like I do that as well. I analyze situations and wonder if I'm doing my best, but alcohol helps me with that. So I just have a couple drinks and I stop caring. I'm not saying that anyone else should do that, but Red Marsh, by the way, you're doing great right now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So far, your answers have been very well thought out compared to. I'm not talking shit about my other guests, but like, I'm really enjoying the conversation I'm having with you. So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, ThatTwoTall.
Oh yes, my turn.
I have some details about you too.
Ooh, let's hear them. I might learn something.
I have too many details about you. I had to like tone it down a little bit because I didn't want to like get too personal. Because he's on DLC and we all know each other a little too well.
We shared nudes once. It was a team bonding thing.
He has 2 dicks. I mean, I didn't think it was. I knew it was out there, but there's only a couple in the world. And
I mean, originally it was going to be that 2 dick, but I figured that
Twitch blocked
probably not PC enough. Because it's easy. Like that 2 tall. Like, how tall are you? It's easy, 6'3", whatever. It's like that 2 dicks. Like, I don't believe you. Then I get banned, and it's just a whole.
Then you have then the proof is in the pudding, and then that 2 thong. Yes, Meshyf. We're on to something. That's your new that. If you unlock more emotes, one has to be a thong with 2 straps, with 2 hammocks.
Dual banana
hammock.
All right, I'll talk to some artists and see who will make that for me.
All right, so you are from Ohio. I hope I'm not doxing you too much.
No, you're good.
Both of your parents are in the medical field.
Correct.
So you grew up with like just medical nerd talk all the time in your house?
Yeah.
Did they ever have you like dissect animals and put them back together or anything?
No, nothing like that. But it became a very common sight for like friends of my. So I have an older brother, and we were both pretty active in sports and stuff, and we had a lot of friends who lived nearby. So it wasn't uncommon for like people who like busted open their like knee or whatever, playing in their backyard, to like show up and just be like spread across my kitchen table with like my parents like gluing them back together, like stitching them up or something. So I was just like, okay, this is what happens in a normal household. This is fine.
So you're not squeamish then? You've seen
no. I mean,
sort
of having parents who are both doctors, and then being a kid who got into frequent trouble, and then being in the medical field myself now, it's sort of like not much makes me squeamish anymore.
Cool. Also, this one, I actually I loved when you told us about this in the Team DLC. So you were a volunteer firefighter for a long time, right? At one point you considered like making that your career, right?
Yeah, so I was a volunteer firefighter for 4 years, and then a volunteer / paid EMT for about 5.5 years. And then sort of stuck with that. And then when I left college to come back home to figure out what the hell I was doing next, I sort of started working for a local ambulance company, and the sort of desire to continue the firefighting EMT lifestyle sort of went out the drain.
Got it. But from the description that you gave before, you were like pretty passionate about it there for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Like you were really into it.
Sort of. The way I always put it is I felt like I was in the majors, in a way. Like it went from the majors to the minors, and that's sort of why I stopped wanting to do it. But when I was there, it was a little volunteer fire department, and it was like so what the school I went to, it was literally like a 2-street town that happened to have a college with it.
Okay.
And the volunteer fire department was like the chief and like 2 officers and the odd hand number of community members. And then it was like 20 college students who would like volunteer and when they weren't in class or studying or off getting drunk, they would take fire calls and stuff.
Oh, got
So
it.
when I sort of saw that, and I was kind of hardcore pre-med at the time, thinking, I'm going to be like my parents and be a doctor. I figured, what's better
That's
resume
pure experience, right?
yeah, than hopping on an ambulance
Right.
for 4 years. So that was awesome because there was like a bunch of kids and stuff who were super passionate about that stuff and who were like, if we weren't studying for like, philosophy or biology or whatever the hell we were doing there at that school, we were like in the firehouse training, doing drills, cleaning trucks, and like doing all this rad shit. Because like you always say like, people who have like the traumatic experiences together bond the most.
Right.
Well, the 4 kids who like go on a fire truck and put out old man Smith's barn that caught on fire, like that's about as good of a bonding experience as you're ever gonna get.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
So yeah, good.
I had a couple friends in college as well who were EMTs or, emergency response type, jobs in various forms. And they always had some crazy ass stories. Is there like one specific, like gnarly or like funny or just like house covered in vomit or like dude's bones sticking out of his face? Like what's the craziest EMT story that you could tell me?
So I've got a few off the top of my head. Are we looking for like
just straight
gory,
gnarly? No,
fun?
I want the gnarliest story that you could think
Well,
of.
the gnarliest story I probably shouldn't share because it's actually kind of horrific. A really funny gross story would be so we had it was like my sophomore or junior year. We had a new president of the college being like, I was about to say indoctrinated, but that's not the right word. Welcome to the school. Inaugurated. There we go.
There you go.
Close enough. And they had this big gala and all these things. And one of the things is they turned our dining hall, which is this big building. Apparently, it was the number 2 choice for playing Hogwarts. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, playing
playing like the big dining hall.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they sort of turned this big thing into like this ballroom, and they were like serving alcohol at like a school function, which was crazy. So anyway, a lot of people got very intoxicated. And we get a call to like, there's obviously a drunk student. We deal with this all the time. And we show up and there's sort of this coat room, and I walk in and there's just like a trail of vomit, like leading to where this guy is propped up in the corner. And of course he's like, I know the guy. So I'm just like, great, here we go. So we sort of prop him up and he's, projectiling everything out of his stomach. And
in the coat room,
just luckily everyone's coats were like off to the side, but like the very limited space all between was just a shag carpet of stomach contents.
Wow.
And I didn't realize it, but sort of in the other corner of the room was another one of my friends covered in puke. So it turns out it wasn't just one guy puking, it was 2, and they were sort of doing a back and forth.
Dueling banjos of vomit.
dueling projectiles. And so that was a fun round trip because you can only technically take 1 sick person per ambulance.
You're like, you got to sit there in your vomit for a few more minutes. We'll be right back.
So essentially I was like, well, I'm going to stay with him. You guys take that guy and then come right back.
Wow.
So it was really fun seeing him. And
were there actually coats in the coat room?
Oh, yeah.
Was everything just caked in vomit?
There were a few victims. Let's just put it that way.
Nice. Love it. So, last thing here. Oh, 2 more things. Sorry. Started a new frat.
Yeah. So my sophomore year, whatever, 1 year, just a bunch of my friends who were like dorm CAs, like the advisors who like oversaw the children of the hall to make sure things like didn't collapse and catch fire and implode. Right. They were approached by like one of the faculty of the college saying like, hey, this fraternity hasn't been around for like X number of years for whatever reason when we don't want to go into. So they want to start it back up. How do you guys feel about that? And we sort of roped 15 of us together, and we basically started a fraternity from nearly the ground up.
Oh, so it was a frat.
It was a national fraternity, yeah. But had been kicked off the campus for some reason. Way back when, or was never established there. And
Did you ever find out what that reason was? Like,
I'm not sure. I don't know if they just sort of were kicked off or they just sort of left. For like not enough active membership or whatever, but they sort of approach us and were like, hey, you know, like, do you want to do this thing? And we're just like, what do we have to do? And they're just like, you have to do literally everything up until this point, then we'll take it from there. So that was sort of like the colony aspect of it, because you have to be a colony before you're a chapter and whatever.
wow.
And so we sort of like wrote our own bylaws and all this other stuff. And it was very much of like okay, we need to have this. Who wants to be this? And it sort of broke down to that. And then within 3 years, we had 50 members and we chartered nationally. And we had like, it's weird. I was like one of the first 6 alumni, which is a weird thing.
That two dicks running the show.
Exactly.
Nice. Yeah, Meshyf says Delta Kappa Foo is now entering Rush Week.
That would be that would be Twitch's fraternity.
Delta Kappa Foo? Or
I
is
think
it Delta Kappa FU?
might be. Or just
So
Kappa.
last thing I want to bring up about you, that you and James have this in common. You started creating content at a pretty young age. You were like, you said you're like in high school, right?
I think I was like,
Like junior high school, right?
I'm gonna have to do some mental math right here. Let's see. Probably 9th grade, so like
15, 14?
something like that. It was right when, whenever like this is gonna be a dark part of my past, but when Minecraft went into like beta and stuff.
Dude, that's exactly how James started. He started creating Minecraft videos on YouTube when he was like, what'd you say, 12, 14?
Yeah, it was like right towards the end of my final middle school year.
So that's why I thought, like, when I read that, I was like, oh, that's awesome, because like both of you guys basically started the same way. You started creating like Minecraft videos on YouTube. So
it was, I had a computer that could barely run Minecraft. I had a pirated version of Fraps. I invited my friend over and he sat like 5 feet to my left on his shitty laptop, and we played this like LAN Minecraft where like our biggest accomplishment is like we built a 2-story house. Like, we have stairs. And it was awful, and I was in such a rush. Like, the people of the world need to see this, that I uploaded like 5 hours of gameplay chopped in like 15-minute videos, because that's all YouTube would let me load up until 15-minute long videos. And I just uploaded them all in like 2 days. And I think over like a few months, they all collectively got like 60 views, and there was like a lot of videos. So it's just like, yeah, okay, this is not happening again. But yeah, through high school I did some stuff, and I sort of stopped when college because other things took priority, and then I'm back.
yeah, well, other things. It's college. You were chasing that booty.
Yeah. Sure, we'll go with that.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, so no, I just thought that was super interesting, because James has essentially, you went on to other things. James kind of, so James, like, did you find success right away with your YouTube? Like, was there like a video that like blew up, or was it just kind of consistent and you just stuck with it? Because James, for those who don't know, has a YouTube channel with how many subscribers?
It's just like 82,000.
Yeah, he's got just like 82,000
over like 7 years. It's
yeah, but
pretty
I
cool
mean,
for me, but like
he kept it going. You know, he was consistent and he kept releasing videos. But like, was there, so like when you first started, was it just like I'm gonna make it big, or was it just I'm gonna do this for fun? Like what was your motivation and what kept you going?
Well, at the time, it was me and my friend Alvin, and we were just making Minecraft videos because we thought we were like the funniest people alive. And we were like, other people need to see how funny these videos. So we did that thing. And then over time, what happened was there was this mod called Flans Mod that came out, and it was just putting guns and like vehicles into Minecraft. And that was like our niche that we took over. and for some reason I got really popular, probably because that's the same time COD was really popular. So a lot of kids going in were like, I can play with guns in Minecraft. That like blew their minds, and that was kind of like where it blew up.
Nice.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like, yeah, I didn't know that for a long time. Like, James and I met through the Minion Masters community, and I didn't know for a while that he even had a YouTube channel. And then eventually, like, we all kind of found out that James was actually like a legit YouTuber who streamed occasionally. So I'm always trying to encourage him to make more content. That's why he's my my co-host, because I think James is a young, handsome man with tons of potential.
A lot
And
of
wasted he's from California, but he goes to school in Vermont. So he's back and forth between California and Vermont. Right now he's in California. That's why he keeps looking over, because his brother's being a loud asshole. Because he's hanging out with his family in California right now. So ThatTwoTall, it's your turn. I have the namesake for this podcast. I have a video, one of your top clips.
I'm pretty sure you clipped my top clip.
No. Your top clip, I'm not going to show. I'm going to show the one that this podcast is named after right now.
Oh, sure. Let's get this out of the way.
I might show your top clip as well, but most people won't get the context unless they play Wizard of Legend. So
I think most people can realize a fuck up when they see one.
Yeah, no. So for those who don't know, his top clip, the reason it's his top clip is because he fucked up really bad playing a game, and so I immediately clipped it and posted it on Reddit, and it got like 2,000 views. So.
Yeah.
So his most popular clip is him fucking up really bad, and it's all thanks to me letting the world know what he did.
Love you, Jimmy.
But no, there was one night where for whatever reason we decided that it was hilarious if he said "Suh Dood." So we kept trying to get him to say it over and over again, and I want him to rebrand his whole stream, by the way. I want you to be the Suh Dood guy.
Okay. I think we're like a year or two late.
No, but that's what makes it funny. Here, we're gonna. This is us convincing him to do it one more time on stream.
I'll have some context for it after.
All right, yeah, he'll explain.
Yeah, but I do want to see the thing.
Okay. Last time I'm doing the thing. Welcome all to the 2 crew. Suh, dudes. Suh. At some point, I think Gator Pete said he was going to make that one of his stream notifications. Oh, God. The zoom in.
I'm quitting out of the game now.
Was going to make that one of his like follower notifications or something. I don't think it's happened yet. Otherwise, like I haven't noticed it, but I'm terrified of when that actually pops up on the stream. Because that's gonna be interesting.
I love this sideways peace sign, like "Suh, dude."
That's the sign.
It's so good.
But what happened there was that I forget who it was. There was like 2 people going on an absolute just tear with like gift subs and stuff. I think it was after the one DLC podcast that got hosted, and then a bunch of people came in and started like sub gifting like crazy. And I think the condition was that every time they did it, I had to do the Suh Dood and do the sign for it. I was not sober when this all occurred. So the inhibitions were a little low, and there were many a Suh Dood given out.
A Suh Dood. Yeah, we're gonna show the other one.
All right.
So this one right here, for those who don't know, there's a game. It's a roguelike. It's called Wizard of Legend. Top-down roguelike. It's a spell-based game. You know, there's floors, and each floor has a boss. And after you kill the boss, it drops a bunch of items, and then there's like the portal to the next level. And he killed the boss and went straight into the portal without picking up any of his items, and he was really sad about it. and so I immediately clipped it and posted it on Reddit, and it has like 1,600 views now. So we'll play that one real
The
quick.
issue with this is the attack button is the same as the.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I've never done this. You did this. I've never done this.
I did it.
So so here's the boss. Boom, kills the boss. And straight into the portal.
To be fair, you could see me turning up. To open the chest, you have to attack them. So I hit the X button to attack it, but that's also the button to teleport.
I love your oh no.
I forget what it was, but I really needed what was in that chest. It was just like gold and health and stuff.
Yep.
I think I ended up losing that run too.
That's a good one. I like that clip a lot. All right, so real quick fire. Let's go.
All right.
What's your favorite curse word?
Probably bitch.
Bitch. That's a solid
great.
one. It's
Great,
really
simple,
it's-
to the
it's-
point.
Omni applicable to everything. It's gender neutral. You can scream it, you can say it in a friendly way, or you can just mutter it under your breath like you're gonna get revenge on someone. It's fantastic.
Yep. What's a sound or noise or what sound triggers you? What sound
So,
or noise gets you
This is
going?
gonna go back to a little bit of firefighting and stuff, but I had to carry a pager around with me, and I carried this thing around for like 4 years, and it was like glued to my hip at all time. When it went off and like its alarm tone was a very like generic tone, but the problem is like I'm still not quite over it. So sometimes I'll hear it like when I'm in the hospital because a lot of things generic tone shows that. So immediately I start looking around, my heart starts racing, I feel the adrenaline pumping, and I just break out into like a cold sweat. Like I'm not sure if what PTSD is like, but this is probably my version of it.
PTSD from a tone.
Yes.
Can you mimic the tone for us? What does it sound
Probably,
like?
probably not, but it's just a very loud, like repetitive, high-pitched beeping. Just like a generic, repetitive alarm noise, and it's everywhere.
All right. And then I have a different one for you, mainly because of your background and your profession. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I'm torn between saying like professional content creator just to like try it out. Because I'm in nursing school right now, and I said if I failed out of nursing school for whatever reason, I would just take a month and just hardcore professional stream and see how far I got, just to try it.
Yeah.
And besides that, maybe go work in a bank or something. Because my buddy, he's working an internship right now, and he is getting paid like $30 an hour, and that's more than I'm going to make when I'm done with school, and that's horseshit.
Wow.
So
a
I
$30
might
an hour internship, like at
or
a
something
bank?
like that. I might just go be his coffee boy for $10.
There you go.
There we go.
And what are you not very good at?
Maintaining motivation, I think. I think
Ooh, that's a good one.
my spurts of inspiration are far between and fleeting, and if I could maintain that high, I would be the most productive man in my house.
It's hard to keep that going. I agree. I have spurts of like motivation and inspiration where I'll just get a shit ton of stuff done, and then it takes me a while to.
In the chat, card 309. That's my bank buddy.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I could tell by the comments that they were dropping that they know you to some extent.
Yeah, he's one of my IRL friends from back in high school and a little bit before that, and my 13-month resub as of today.
Nice. Those are good to have. Tier 3? The card, if you're not tier 3, I'm calling you out.
Tier 1, I'm not going to make him tier 3.
No, I'm going to make him tier 3. You're not allowed to say it.
He makes 30 an hour.
Yeah, I'm telling card
25.
309 right now. You're tier 3 sub right now, or I'm not your friend anymore. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome, dude. It's having friends like that. It's inspiring. I have a friend who works for the Producers Guild of America.
Damn.
And he just got his master's from UCLA in business. Like, he's the guy that, like, he's my best friend since, like, grade school. And he kind of keeps me motivated. He keeps me, like, I'm like, dude, he's fucking rocking it. I got to keep on trucking. Like, I got to keep up, you know? So It's good to have those types of people around. And this question is for both of my guests. Red Marsh first. On the scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you?
1 to 10.
If you had to grade yourself.
1 being what and 10 being what?
Just like 1 being your Mr. Bank Teller who goes to bed at 8 o'clock and wakes up at 6 o'clock and goes to school, goes home, goes back to sleep. 10 being like tentacle porn weeb, just like you live off of nothing but peanut butter and you don't believe in brushing your teeth, and like 10 is just like 10's weird, man.
I did not expect that scale to go that far.
Wow, damn. That's
I mean,
very
10 is
thorough.
10. There's nothing higher than 10.
10 is 10. Well, my friend Zoe Mitchell down in the comments got it pretty correct. Marsh is a 15 on the weird scale.
I think that's what Meshyf said last week. I think he said he was a 15. Everyone thinks they're really weird.
I think I'm probably somewhere around, like, I think I'm weirder than I actually am, so I probably think I'm like the 7 or 8, but I probably actually am more like a 4 or 5.
That's fair. That's fair. What about you, ThatTwoTall?
I would agree with that. I think I sort of have that dual. I think I'm weird, but then I see like a really strange, weird person and go, okay, maybe I'm not too bad. So probably realistically around a 4.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I think that's all of the getting to know you personal type questions that I had for you guys. So let's move on to something that both of you are here for. I kind of like intentionally tried to bring you guys in together because it's a topic worth discussing. Something is about to happen. I think it's like tomorrow, isn't it?
Hold
Like,
on 1 sec. I need to use the restroom. Sorry.
do it.
All right.
It's all good. Well, we have other topics. You're good.
Okay, I'm done.
What? No, don't do that. His weird scale just went up 2 notches after that one. He just pooed in his chair.
And he said he was a solid 4.
That was talking about his poop.
solid 4.
Solid 4.
You know there is a poop scale.
I'm in nursing school. I'm very aware.
What's
of
it called? The
scale.
Bristol.
Something like that.
No, the podcast that I listen to, they talk about it all the time. On Your Mom's House podcast, they talk about the Bristol Stool Chart. In fact, we're gonna pull it up right now.
The Bristol. Sure. I had to learn this, and I was tested on it.
Yeah, Bristol Stool Chart. We're pulling this up on the podcast until he gets back. There's a picture. Here you go, guys. For those at home who didn't know, the Bristol Stool Chart is a thing. Hold on. I want this picture full screen. Let's see. View image. There we go. We're zooming in. So you got type 1. Those are those hard round nugs. Type 2 is sausage with nugs. See, like type 3 and 4 is where you want to be, right? That's like that's healthy. And then it just gets messy. Everything after 4, you're in trouble. Type 7 is you just went on Hot Ones as a guest. So now you guys know if you wanna grade your dukes, there's a chart. It's official. This is the official chart, guys. There's a Wikipedia. That's how you know it's official. So yeah. Anything else you want to know about your poops? We can keep talking about poops. So ThatTwoTall.
Yes.
You're actually a variety streamer. Every time I watch your stream, you're playing something different.
But yeah. So when I originally had this silly notion.
There you go.
words are difficult at 10 at night.
I got you.
For us East Coasters. But I had this notion that I was going to be, sort of like a one game workhorse with, brief ventures out into something else.
Right.
For a long time, that was Overwatch, and I was okay at it. But then I realized, that's not really a way to grow your audience, and I'm not having fun just doing things by myself. So like I'm not exactly out here to hit ninja status or anything like that. But like definitely having at least one or two people to share the experience with is what makes streaming for me. And I realized I was never going to get there just doing Overwatch stuff. So I started branching out into, this is back when I was like 40 followers. And now I sort of went over and did some Dark Souls and started doing some other games. And I sort of figured out like I have much better time streaming when I'm not bored. And to keep myself entertained, I play different games. Like today was a perfect example of me like having fun with it, considering I played 3 different games on rotation.
No, I really like that idea. For those who don't know, he started doing this, what'd you call it, roguelike rotation. Yeah, so he picked 3 different roguelikes, whatever you want to call them. And when he would die on one of them, he would switch to the next one. So he would do a full run and then die once he died. So what'd you do? You did Gungeon,
Wizard of Legend, Gungeon, and Slay the Spire.
Wizard of Legend, Gungeon, Slay the Spire. And so like he would do a run all the way up until you get as far as he could until he died, and then he would switch games. And it kind of, I liked that. It was cool. It kind of kept things fresh. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the Shotgun Wednesday thing I was doing for a while, where it's like you don't get burnt out on just playing the same game run after run. So I watched it while I was at work today, and I really enjoyed watching it.
So pro tip, if anyone wants to copy that, don't do Slay the Spire. That is such a different game than the other 2.
It
sort of breaks the rhythm.
Yeah, I could see that. But some people might appreciate that. Like, because it does change the momentum a little bit, like keeps things, I don't know. So you're saying you would prefer to do 3 games that are all similar?
I think I sort of was doing it that there was going to be some element of like, fast paced, one and hit the next and don't slow down in between. But that's sort of tough when like Slay the Spires, Wizard of Legend and Enter the Gungeon are both sort of like fast, hard action, where like Slay the Spires like, all right, now like figure out which card you want to play, and
yeah, it's a different type of game.
Do some mental math, and Enter the Gungeon's like shoot bullets faster.
Right. That
Can I
makes
jump
sense.
in here?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What are we talking about specifically?
So ThatTwoTall today on his stream, he started a new thing called roguelite rotation. So he chose 3 roguelite games, and what he would do is he'd play a run until he died, and then he would switch games. So he rotated between the 3. So he'd do a Gungeon run till he died, then he'd switch to Wizard of Legend, play a run of that till he died, then he would switch to Slay the Spire, play a run of that till he died, and then he would start the rotation over.
Nice.
And it was really cool because it kept it kind of fresh and stuff. But he was saying that if he did that again, he wouldn't put Slay the Spire with the other 2 because the pace is so different. He would probably choose 3 games at the same pace to kind of keep the
or at least like change from the other 2 to be like a medium paced.
Balance it out a little bit.
Just sort of like so there's a gradient rather.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Sounds interesting. I don't know. I would like Slay the Spire in that rotation, but I'd probably add an additional game that has a more not Enter the Gungeon, Wizard of Legend pace, and not Spire. Because Spire is like such an amazing game, but you can spend like 30 minutes on one battle because you're like, I'm gonna die if I don't overthink this shit. But then 6 hours have gone by, and then you just
So that's like the ideal thing for the roguelike rotation would be a longer stream. So if you're doing like a 12-hour stream day, that's a perfect thing for that.
Right.
That you're changing up, you're not getting bored. You can take, Slay the Spire could be like your break where you're like, all right, I'm gonna relax, eat a snack, talk to the viewers, stuff like that. Where and calculate your Rain Man moves, where the other ones don't really allow you that.
You could throw a side scroller in there like Dead Cells or something.
Yeah, that's true.
I never played that. How is that? Anyways,
that is it's mechanically one of the best side scroller games I've ever played. Like, it feels amazing. And if Meshyf is still in chat, he can attest to this. Once you kind of get the mechanics down of like rolling, dodging, using your shield, shooting your bow and arrow, hitting your sword, doing your abilities, like the game, you can get into like this flow of just like chaining your attacks together and jumping from enemy to enemy, like, and it's so responsive, like the just the pure mechanical just movement of the game, and it just feels amazing when you like you'll go through a whole area and just like bah, bah, boom, 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 jump from enemy to enemy, and it's just you feel like a badass once you start to like figure out how it all fits together. So it's a very rewarding game. It's very fun to play, and it is procedural. So it's they called it they're trying to brand a new type of game called a Roguevania. So it's like a roguelite, but it's side scrolling like a Metroidvania. And there's actually there's a game coming out called Chasm that is taking that same approach. And Chasm comes out at the end of this month on the 31st. And that's all I'm going to play probably for the next, 2 months, because I love Metroidvanias and I love roguelites.
Same. I love both of those things so very much.
You should look
amazing.
at Chasm. So
Yeah.
Chasm's approach is a little bit different, though, because what they're doing is basically, I'm not a sellout, dude. I wish. I reached out to the developers and I'm like, let me promote your game. Come on my podcast. Give me a copy. Like, I'll promote the shit out of your game. And they're like, well, the Kickstarters have their copies. The game comes out on the 31st. And I'm like, you don't understand. Anyway, so their approach is that basically it's a Metroidvania in the sense that you have to get certain items to unlock other areas. And that order doesn't change too much, but each playthrough is like an entire game. And
What?
Yeah, so it's not a roguelite in the sense that like you die quickly and learn and start again. You when you die, it's not permadeath. It's more like a Metroidvania in the sense that when you die, you start at your last save. But once you beat the game and you start another game, everything generates new again. So it's like playing Castlevania from beginning to end, and then when you beat it and you start over, everything moved and all the areas are different and stuff. So it's like a long form roguelite. But they said there is a permadeath thing that you can turn on if you want that experience. And they also support, which I wish more roguelites did this, they have seeds. Day one, they're going to have seed support. So if you want to follow a guide, like if some dude on YouTube is like, hey, I'm going to give you a guide on how to play through this game and use this seed. And so like Binding of Isaac added seeds after their second DLC or whatever. And seeds, basically what seeds are, for those who don't know, is you can put in a code that will spawn the same exact version of the world. So like you can seed the world with a code so that it's the same. Even though the game is randomly generated, you can seed the world to get the same one that someone else is using. Which is good for speedruns as well. Like generally with speedrunning, you want everyone to use the same seed so that you're playing the same version of the game over and over and over again. Without the random generation as much. So I'm super excited about Chasm. I'll keep talking about that. I think my community's sick of me plugging that game. I'm not an affiliate. They're not paying me. I've just been waiting for that game for like 3 years.
Wow.
So, but Dead Cells has been holding me over until then, because mechanically Dead Cells is one of the best Metroidvania roguelite, like side-scrolling. Mechanically, it's just perfect. Not an affiliate yet. Yes, Frongo, not yet. He knows a lot about a game he hasn't played. I'm in their Discord, and I keep begging their devs to like hook me up, but it hasn't happened yet. So everyone go tweet at BitKid. Go out on Twitter and look up BitKid and Chasm, and tell them all that JimmyNavio wants a copy of their game. Hashtag whiny. Oh, come
Nice.
on.
Hey.
That's just mean. So now that you're back, Red Marsh, let's talk about End of the Gungeon.
Oh, okay.
That's why you two are here, because you
Yeah.
both play that game. I play that game as well, but you're both better than me at that game. I've won a few runs. I have not put as many hours into it as you guys have, and I want to like kind of dive deep into it. First of all, how long ago did they announce that shit?
This new expansion?
It's been years.
It was about
right?
no. It's been it hasn't been a full year yet. It was announced, I believe, in August or July. I want to say of last year. Is that correct? ThatTwoTall? You'd have to correct me on that.
I think so. I mean, unfortunately, my experience with a lot of game news that I'm not super into on a competitive level, like Overwatch, I only sort of notice updates when like they come across my like either my Twitter feed or Steam's updating a game I want to play. I'm like, what the fuck is updating? And I hit view news, and it's like, oh, shit.
Oh.
So
Nice.
I did know a little bit about this one, and I think it has been. I think you're right about last summer being sort of the announcement day, because I know they were teasing this for a while.
Right. Yeah, I saw on the Steam. Speaking of Steam news, I saw on Steam news that they had this really old like preview of AG&D, which is the abbreviation for the new update, known as
What's the update called?
Advanced Gungeons and Dragons.
There it is. That's right.
Yeah, and it's they started off as like a little update, quality of life changes, some new items and shit, and whatever, dude. And and then it became this massive thing. Like they originally teased it as like a small little update. They said a small update essentially that is going to make the game better, higher quality of life. And then a year after they said it was going to come out in fall, it's coming out tomorrow, and it's going to be insane. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, to be fair, this was clearly a case of, the developers going, all right, we need to do a small thing. But what if we did this instead?
So as a
And then
developer,
this, and then
as a
this, and then just
software
keep
developer
going.
myself, do you guys know what that's called? There's a term for it.
Grandiosity.
No, it's
Um,
called feature creep.
Oh,
Feature creep is when you start a project and then over time you say, oh, but I want to add this feature. Oh, but I want to add this feature. Oh, but I want to add this feature. And then eventually feature creep becomes so bad that you never actually finish the original project because you're constantly finding more and more stuff that you keep wanting to add to the game. And it's a real problem in the software development world where like there's always something more, and eventually you just have to say, nope, not like we can't do that. But like I feel like this is a victim of feature creep. Based on what Red Marsh just told me, it sounds like they were like, yeah, we're gonna add a couple this and that and this, and then they just kept going, and then they kept going, and they're like, no, we're gonna add, no, we're gonna no, because I watched Cobalt Streak play it today, and there's so much new shit. There's like it's like a whole nother game almost. Like there's so much content.
Was that
Like-
like a pre-release thing or?
Yeah, there's a few streamers that have access to it already. So I've been watching someone I've watched since I joined Twitch is Cobalt Streak. He plays a lot of roguelites. He's kind of the one that got me into those types of games. And he was playing the expansion today, and like there's just so much. There's like the amount of like new synergies and new areas, and there's like a rat key that unlocks a whole new area, and like there's so much new content. It's just like obviously they like started down a road and then they just kept fucking going. I'm glad they eventually said no, we got to release this, because people were starting to get pretty I was like
honestly,
I stopped playing it a while ago because I was just like, there's this expansion that they keep saying is going to come out, and where's it at? Like
I think that's how their last expansion sort of went to, the whatever they call it, the supply drop one. I think that was supposed to be a small like balance, buffs and nerfs, like balancing things for certain weapons and stuff. I think that turned into a like, okay, we're gonna add like a bunch of new items and weapons and skins and stuff like this. And here you can do this thing, and shit, let's just push this live.
Yep.
they made like, I think it's really underplayed, but supply drop update was another one of those completely game-changing updates to the game. It was just like when I started after supply drop update like came out, but when I look through on the wiki, you can look at like what was changed, and it's like so many of the things are completely essential to my experience of the game that without it, I don't even know if I would love it as much.
I think one of my friends talked me into buying it on one of the Steam sales, whatever. And it was probably pretty close to the initial release. And he was very into these types of games. Like he was really good at them, and I was trash at them. So like I bought Enter the Gungeon, I think near release initially on Steam, and I played it. I'm like, I'm fucking awful at this. I can't get past the first floor. Fucking stall. And then
the initial release was hard as balls.
Yeah, and then he was like clearing floors like a boss and doing all these great things. And I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going back to Dark Souls 2 or whatever I was playing at the time. I think it was like League of Legends maybe. But then initially,
Dark Souls 2 is like easier somehow.
It was to me at the time. I was near the halfway, right where you're like, right where you start like, I know how to press the right button on the controller now. And I came back to the game and I'm just like, wow, this is so much like easier to play and fun to play. And like, why the hell wasn't I doing this a month ago? And then I'm like, oh wait, there was a huge update. That's probably why.
Right. Yeah. The supply drop update definitely made the game slightly more balanced, a little more noob friendly, in my opinion. Because I felt like when I came back to play after the supply drop update, I felt like I was able to make progress more consistently, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I remember on release, it was rough, man. Like it was very unforgiving. It was a hard game. And I feel like the supply drop kind of balanced some stuff out quite a bit, which in my opinion was kind of needed. So I'm curious to see with this update which direction that goes. But I'm excited, man. Like from what I've seen on the streams that I've watched. So are you, Red Marsh, what changes specifically are you aware of with this this
pretty
patch?
much everything, dude. I've been
What are like some major key points though without
Okay, all right. So key points. There's like the biggest focus of the update is the fact that they're adding 350 synergies. Like, okay, so for roguelites, people who aren't familiar or mildly familiar with roguelites, this is highlighted in Isaac, Binding of Isaac, which is another roguelite, like the roguelite that made roguelites humongous. Binding of Isaac. Play it if you have the money. But the biggest thing about that game is that items not only have specific singular like effects, they build on other effects that create new things. Not just like they work together, but they actually create new objects when paired together. So for Enter the Gungeon, they were like, okay, we'd like to make our game more like this so that we have more unique experiences among players, because there's a lot less. There was like 50 to 60 synergies before this update. And so the amount of experiences you could have in the game was very limited because the synergies weren't there, and you kind of just like got 20 guns in a run. You're like, oh, I only want to use 3 of these guns. Fuck all these other guns. And then, and then you win or you lose. But now it's like, not only did they add 350 synergies, so they like multiplied it by what, 6, 7 or whatever.
Right.
They also added multiple like mechanics to the game that give you synergies throughout every single run. So there's like a synergy chest that gives you an item that specifically has a synergy with something you have, like a gun or item in your inventory currently. And there's also this NPC lady who gives you a synergy like that you can buy from her as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's like insane.
So yeah, because that's honestly why Binding of Isaac has withstood the test of time. Like the streamer I was just talking about, Cobalt Streak, that's like the #1 game that he still streams today is Binding of Isaac, and he regularly has like 2,000 viewers and he's playing, a game that came out forever ago, and it's because you can still every run have a unique experience when you play Binding of Isaac because of how many synergies that game has. It's like, oh, these two items together create this whole new thing that wouldn't exist otherwise. And so I'm really excited about that. I think that'll probably bring me back to Gungeon, because there's no other game there's no game that has done it as deeply as Binding of Isaac has done it. There's no other game that has more synergies than Binding of Isaac until now, apparently, because if the 350 synergies, it's going to be a while before everyone discovers how all the different items interact with each other. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah. And then there's one other thing that two other things I want to highlight. The thing I've been most excited for is turbo mode. They're adding a new mode to the game. Like, the biggest gripe I ever had was how ridiculously slow, how much ridiculous downtime you have in the game when you're not fighting and you're not making decisions. You're literally just walking really slowly through empty rooms, trying to get to like where you're going.
Right.
So they added a mode where everything gets sped up. And I saw on recent streams, and I hadn't heard them tease this, but it's one of the coolest options that I've ever seen in a game, is that when you're out of combat, your guy moves so much faster. So not only can you speed up the game with turbo mode, you actually can extra speed up your guy through empty rooms and just start running through shit. And so it's going to make the game like so much more action-packed, essentially.
That's one thing I really like about Wizard of Legend, actually.
I was going to say the same thing. I saw you light up when he said that, because, go ahead.
Because one thing in Wizard of Legend is you're out of combat for like so many seconds, whatever, your character will speed up and start like, without a better way to put it, like Naruto running.
That's so true. Like,
which is really nice, because one, you can get across the map really quick, or backtrack, because there's a procedurally generated map. There's dead ends everywhere sometimes. It just helps you get back, because there's not exactly like a teleportation system like there is in Enter the Gungeon.
That is the thing that's most frustrating for me in Wizard of Legend, is you're like, oh, I went all the way over here. Oh, I have to run all the way back.
And
but the sprint mode and there are portals, but you have to find the main portal, the main room, before you can use them. Yeah.
But like, still, it's like a nice little quality of life thing. You can find some items that speed up the cooldown until you start running again and things like that, which is nice if you really don't like moving slowly.
No, the sprint in Wizard of Legend, because you move way faster when you're out of combat and you start moving. Like, I think it kicks in after like 1 or 2 seconds, where it just and then you fly across the map pretty fast. So I'm glad to see that mechanic making its way, because if you're not fighting, why the fuck does it take so long to get somewhere? I agree. So that's cool. I did watch on Cobalt's stream. He did a few runs with the turbo mode turned on, and then he went back to the normal mode, and he's like, "Dude, this feels so slow. It feels like slow motion." But like, his only complaint was that there was some of the bosses that require pretty like bullet hell intricate dodging in turbo mode were significantly harder, because
that's the point. But
that's the point. I mean, the point of turbo mode is to play through a run faster, but at the same time, it does make it harder, because everything is faster. Bullets are faster. Even though you move faster, bullets are coming at you faster. So, like, there's a significant adjustment there that you're probably going to have to compensate for with the turbo mode.
But something to, add is that it's not like what you would normally think. It's not like they pushed a fast forward button that says 2 times to everything. They actually specifically tuned the speed ups for every individual thing differently.
Oh, really?
So that it has like the right feel for the player. Rather than if it was just fast forward on everything, it would essentially be just as hard and just as annoying, but faster.
Right.
And we don't have Flash's brain, so we can't think faster, unfortunately.
Right. All right. So I think we covered it. I think as far as Enter the Gungeon is one last thing.
The rats.
So tell me about the rat, and then I have one more question.
Okay, all right. So the third, like the biggest additional thing to Gungeon is they added a new secret floor with a new secret boss who happens to be known as the Resourceful Rat, which is the greatest, like most hated NPC.
He's the guy that steals shit when you leave it in a room, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the guy. He steals all your shit. It's super freaking annoying. And like I have so many memories of him stealing that stupid broken TV set from me. It's just the worst. If anybody knows what I'm talking about.
Let's just say I'm that doing that challenge was probably one of my crowning moments of my life. Just getting it over with.
Completely.
For those who don't know, basically there's an achievement, there's something you can unlock in the game, and it requires you kicking a TV around the entire map, because there's certain things you can't do while you're holding the TV, so you either have to throw it or sit it down. And so if you forget to pick it up before you leave the room, the rat will come and he steals items once you leave the room. So if you're trying to do the TV achievement and you forget to pick it up and you walk into the next room and it's gone, like the rat just steals that shit.
Yeah. So it's a little elaboration on that. It's to unlock one of the characters you can play.
Right.
And I believe you have to carry it from the 2nd floor all the way to the shop on the 5th floor. And it takes up your item slot. You can't dodge with it in your inventory. And that's like one of the biggest things in the game. And if you do, it drops it. And it can fall off terrain into the abyss. And you have to start all over. So you have to go through 4 floors and however many boss fights and stuff with this busted ass fucking TV to unlock the fucking robot who's a fucking cock himself. It's just it's worth it in the end, but you start looking up the definition of madness somewhere halfway through.
Oh
Nice.
man. Yeah. Well, okay.
So now you can kick the rat's ass.
The robot. But yeah, the rat's ass. That's true. You can kill the rat. I don't know if you can kill him, but you can definitely defeat him in some way. And I actually watched Cobalt Streak fight the rat, and it was insane. It was the coolest thing I've probably ever seen in any video game ever. It was so
Wow. Those are big words.
I just beat Bullet Hell for the first time, so those are some big words.
It was insane. Okay, so there's
haven't
like
even beaten
crazy
the game.
references out the butt. Like there's
Spoiler
I feel like-
alert. If anyone
Spoiler
wants
alert,
to
if anybody wants
play
to
this
experience
and
this.
have the experience, you should probably mute the stream for a minute.
I cannot say anything if you guys don't want spoilers.
No,
but
I
just
don't
want to talk
mind.
about it
I
so
play it
bad.
very casually, but go ahead.
He
We
freaking-
the alert has been made.
Okay, yeah. So he shoots blobs of cheese at you that like shoot across the screen in multiple waves super fast, and then they go outside of the room, and then the same waves come back in super fast. And so you have to like anticipate all these things. And then you know that javelin attack that in Wizard of Legend, the javelin guy, where you see the lines and then it just smashes you in the face, or the orbs, you see the lines and then you're like, okay, I have to get out of this way. That same concept is used when he's shooting cheese at you. And then, so that's the first fight. You beat him there, and then there's a second phase, obviously. The second phase, he uses a freaking Metal Gear to fight you.
Like an actual Metal Gear from
Metal Gear from Metal Gear. It looks like a smaller version of the Metal Gear Rex, I want to call it, from Metal Gear Solid. It's
Nice.
so cool. And the attacks, it doesn't make sense. Like they move so much faster than the main character. I don't understand how you're even supposed to dodge around it. And like there are these big circles that fly around the room super fast. And if you get inside one of the circles, the circle will close on you. And it'll just hit you and squash you. And once
you
you
can't
beat
roll
him-
out of it, or
you can roll out of it, but you have to time it. And then the third phase, dude, Dodge Roll Dave about like a month ago went on Barbed Wire. Barbed Wire is one of the biggest Gungeon streamers. That's all he streams.
okay.
Pretty much. He's an amazing guy. He's a friend of mine. follow him, watch him, touch him with his dingling. But
I'm gonna tell him you said that.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Something
Why
about
not?
That plug didn't sound quite right.
You heard
But-
it here first, folks. Touch him in his dingling.
Yeah, but in his stream once, Dodge Roll Dave and Devolver Digital came in. Devolver Digital published Enter the Gungeon.
Right.
So they came in and Dodge Roll Dave was like, secret tip, play the game Mike Tyson's Punch Out if you want to like get ahead on the new content. And the third phase is a direct reference to Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And you play as your character on top of the Metal Gear Rex, punching the shit out of Resourceful Rat. And every time you punch him, like some pickup or item shoots out of his body. So depending on how far you get in the fight, even if you lose, the fight ends and then whatever you punched out of his body, you can pick up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you could just get a whole bunch of items the longer you last in the fight?
Yeah, I'm so jazzed about it. I'm sorry.
No, I can sense the passion in your voice. It sounds pretty amazing, and hopefully one day I can actually make it to this point where I can experience it myself.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not that good at that game, but I'm jazzed for it. I'm mostly excited about synergies because synergies make things more like Isaac. You can have that run where you get like 3 items right away and you're a god because of the synergies that they have, but you don't know that until you get them. And I think that's something that's always kind of been missing, like you said, from Gungeon. It's like you kind of know which guns are good, which guns aren't, which passive buffs are good, which ones aren't. And the addition of that many synergies is going to make things a lot more entertaining, and the replay value will just go through the roof, I think.
Absolutely. Because even the way it stands right now, there's plenty of builds where you're just like, all right, I'm just going to build as much health and armor as possible, and I'm just going to like not do that much damage, but I'm going to rely on like being a dodgy little fuck and surviving.
Right.
Other times where you go full glass cannon, you have 2 full hearts, but you've got like all empowered buffs and maybe like a minigun and a rocket launcher, and you're just like, okay, we'll see how long I live.
Yeah.
So,
You played a spice run, I can tell.
Yes.
Good old spice runs.
So it'll be very interesting to see once synergies get in how diverse all those things get.
From what I can tell, there's a bajillion quality of life improvements and changes, and then on top of that, I think the game is actually it's considerably easier as far as like from the offensive standpoint. They give you a lot more drops that add to your arsenal, and the chance of I'm sure everyone has gotten the run where you have no ammo left and you just legit just have the starting weapon left, and then you're trying to beat the final boss and you're like, how am I supposed to beat him? I have no ammo. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, all around, I think. So the last question, and then I think after this we're going to move on to Sheefs Beef. I think it's time. The last question I have, because some people are going to ask this, what does it cost?
Many hours of free time.
It's a legitimate question because there's a lot of new content. People are going to be like, wow, all that new content, what does it cost?
Jimmy, you know the answer to that.
Answer my question, asshole.
Hey, I may be an asshole, but I'll answer your question. It's free. It's absolutely free.
That's the most amazing part.
You're just not paying with money.
But they spent how many hours, like legitimate developer hours have.
We should be clear. The base game's $15.
Right.
The big
game costs
giant
money.
update is free.
Right.
Yes.
I would have gladly paid $5 or $10 for the amount of content that they're adding to this, and the fact that they're just like, you know what, we spent. What did we say? They announced it summer of last year. I mean, it hasn't been a full year, but almost a full year developing this. That's real time and energy and money that's gone into developing this, and they're like, you know what? Here it is. It's free. So, I mean, that for me, I have to respect that because I would not work for a whole year for free.
I mean, I think that's something to say about Devolver as a whole, because I know for Ruiner they had a Christmas or something DLC that they were just like, yeah, everyone who has the game here, have it. And Sammy and I were both excited with that because I think we both had just finished streaming that game.
I just got that. I have to play it. I'm excited.
I have to finish it. I have to finish it. I'm like on the last leg, but no one was watching me, and then I started playing End of the Gungeon. The people started watching me, and then I just stopped playing Ruiner. Not intentionally. I just stopped.
I totally get that.
Yeah. You know which one I enjoyed? Side note before we move on to Sheefs Beef. If you ever played the Hotline Miami games and you were like, I want something a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more just like boom, bop, bop.
Faster paced than the Hotline Miami.
Yeah. Go
Just
play
a little more fast-paced.
Go play Mr. Shifty.
Mr. Shifty.
Look up.
I want to play that so bad.
Oh, I beat that game on stream. That game is amazing.
Really?
Add it to your list. Mr. Shifty is fucking. You feel like a god when you play that. Once you like get the mechanics down, that game is a blast. Mr. Shifty, I forget how I got that. I got it in a bundle or something.
I got it for free on Twitch for having Twitch Prime.
Yeah, something like that. They've given it away through various different bundles or Twitch Prime or whatever, but play that game. If you liked Hotline Miami, if you like top down, it's not a roguelite. The levels are pre-designed and whatnot, but it's yeah, Mr. Shifty, do it. It's fun. It's a really cool game. So hey, let's take a quick 2-minute break. I'm gonna refill my blue cup. If you guys need to drink your drink, smoke your smoke, hit the bucket, do whatever you got to do. We'll take a couple minutes, and then as soon as we come back, the first thing we're gonna do is watch Sheefs Beef.
Right,
so if you don't have Sheefs Beef queued up, the link is in the group chat that we had, and we're gonna dive deep into Sheefs Beef when we come back. So thank you guys for being here, and Red Marsh, ThatTwoTall so far, I'm loving the discussion. We went deep right now on on Gungeon, and I'm super stoked about it. So when we come back, we'll have some Sheefs Beef for you guys. All right. All right, I am back. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Anyone who is here from Red Marsh or ThatTwoTall stream, I really appreciate you being here. This is officially the 10th podcast that we have done here. My name is JimmyNavio. I have James28, my co-host. He's got a YouTube channel. He streams from time to time. He's just a really cool dude. And for those of you already who know, we got Red Marsh and ThatTwoTall with us today as guests. We just went super deep on Enter the Gungeon, the new expansion coming out. We're all super excited about it. I'm definitely going to stream it. I'll stream that probably. I'm going to play that a few times until Chasm comes out. I'm going to talk about Chasm until you're all sick of it. So I'm going to bring them back on here, and we're going to jump into it with some Sheefs Beef. For those who don't know, Sheefs Beef, basically, we have a friend. His name is Meshyf, also a streamer. Shout out to Mr. Meshyf. In fact, let me do that real quick in chat. He's a funny dude. I know him in real life. He sold me my car. I met him through JimmyNavio. They work together. He's a streamer, and he dedicated himself once a week to creating a pre-recorded video where he presents 2 topics to us that he has beef with. 2 things that he's not happy about or that he's frustrated with. And we get to debate those 2 topics. You guys can join us in chat, and we're all going to decide which one is the bigger beef. And according to him, there is a right and wrong answer. So we have to try and determine which beef is the bigger beef. So I'm going to bring the other guys back on, and we're going to watch some Sheefs Beef. All right. You guys can unmute yourselves if you want. We're back. We're live. And let's see. Let me switch to my media view here, and we're going to get this beef going. Whoop. Where'd my stream go? There it is. All right. Media view. Sheefs Beef. You pause the music so we get the full effect here. All right. Let me cue it up. So I am at 0-0. We'll do 1, 2, 3, go, and we'll hit play when you guys are ready. Okay.
Yep.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go.
Welcome everyone to another episode of
Sheefs
Beef. We're down here at JTRH NBR Studio Network Complex headquarters, bringing you the beef. Now your host, Meshyf. Welcome everyone to the stadium. My name's Meshyf. I'm bringing you the beef. We got two big beefs this week, and they're going to go head to head. So let's get started. First beef is cashiers.
What?
Okay, cashiers. What's going on? I don't know about you guys, but I've been dealing with a lot of people that are half awake. They're only kind of half there. They don't know what's going on. They're not present at their job. And I get it. It's a cashier job. I was a cashier. I know what that's like. It's boring. It's tedious. Lasts forever. And then you go home. Okay. Two issues I've been having. I don't know if you guys are having the same thing. I got cashiers where you go up and you go, hey, listen, there's 4 of those, 2 of those, 6 of those. And what you're trying to do is shorten the amount of time that you're spending in line. Now, when I was a cashier, I would do anything I could to get you out of my face as quickly as possible so I could go back to doing nothing. I want to go back to doing nothing. You want to go back to doing nothing. Let's work together and figure out how we can go back to doing nothing together. One of the ways you can do that is by speeding up the checking out process. And that is by saying, hey, ring it up once, hit the 4 button, let's go. The second thing, getting kind of old, the next person to tell me they don't have Apple Pay when I hold up a Samsung,
What?
I'm slapped across the face with this phone. Now, I get it. You don't care about your job. Totally understand. I didn't care about mine either. But there's a little tiny thing on the merchant terminal that shows a picture of an Apple logo or an Android logo or both. And in any case, it doesn't matter. It's Samsung, okay? It duplicates a magnetic strip. It works literally everywhere except for a few places. And the few places it doesn't work, chances are you don't fucking work there, okay? One place it doesn't work is Lowe's. The second place it doesn't work is places that are mom and pop in the hole, places just that have the oldest possible technology. Those are the places it doesn't work. It works on vending machines. It works at the drive-thru. It works at the bank. It works everywhere. But the cashier will always insist that it doesn't work. And it doesn't matter if I just used it with you a week ago or yesterday. You're always going to tell me the same thing. I don't think that works. Okay? Enough with the attitude. Don't tell me it's not going to work when I know it's going to work. And if we could speed it up just a little bit, that would be awesome. That's why, cashiers, you are the first beef of the week. Second beef, being grown up sick. Now, take a second and remember what it was like when you were sick as a kid, okay? Mom, I got the sniffles. I can't go to school. What happened? Okay, Mom would buy you all the Gatorade so you stay nice and hydrated. You stay at home in the air conditioning, and you play Pokemon all day. Okay, you're smashing the Elite Four. You're waiting for Toonami to come on. No school for you. Great fucking day. Now, being grown up sick is the complete opposite of awesome. Being grown up sick sucks. When you're grown up sick and your kid's sick, it doesn't matter. You're taking care of the kid. Okay, you don't get to stop. You don't get to just relax and get better. No, you still got to do all your shit that you got to do. If you're a parent, you're taking care of your kids, and it's fucking miserable. If you're going to school or going to work, or both for some people, if you're sick and got to go to work, Jesus Christ, that sucks. The first thing that's going to happen, you're going to have a headache. You're going to be like, I don't want to be here. Work is going to be an awful day. You get to work, first thing someone says to you is, you look sick. You should go home. Don't come here sick. And you're like, yeah, you're right, but I'm out of sick pay, or I can't afford it, or I tried to call out last week. I got yelled at. Whatever. So you get to work, everyone's telling you to go home because you're sick and you hate being at work, and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do, but I can't fucking afford to do that. Or on the flip side, you're actually like, fuck it, I got sick pay. I'm going to stay home today because I'm sick. I don't want to get better and I don't want to deal with this shit. So you go to call into work, and then it's a big ordeal. What do you mean you're calling in sick? You're not that sick. I saw you yesterday. You were fine. And you got to come up with this whole thing and make all the excuses, and it just turns into this big thing, right? You gotta either fake it or over exaggerate it or whatever, so you don't feel like you're being an asshole by calling out and putting everyone else out. So that's why, being grown up sick, you are the beef of the week. So let's take it to the chat. I want to see what Red Marsh has to say. James, Jimmy, ThatTwoTall. What do you guys have to say? Which is the beefiest? Now keep in mind, there's a right answer, and we're going to see if you get it right after the break with the beef.
All right, I paused at 5:13.
All right. So
ThatTwoTall, what do you think?
Okay, it's tough. I don't think I know Meshyf well enough to answer this, but there's like a serious answer, and I feel like there's a personal answer here. And I have a little anecdote for. I think you probably picked cashiers, but I think the serious answer is the grown-up sick one. And actually, a little story, because like I work in healthcare right now, and like when I call off, like there's this whole call off line stuff, and it's supposed to be personal, and you don't like know it. And like I work with patients and stuff, so like me being sick is like there's a good chance I'm going to get them sick and stuff like that, and it's just a whole bad thing. But, like I have called in before, and like my coworkers always say, make sure you call in and say like, why are you calling off? Like personal reasons, never tell them. One time I was like, I'm sick. And of course, I think 10 minutes later, I get a call from my manager saying, I don't care if you're sick, come in now. So I think definitely there's a stigma of like, you're an adult, you're not allowed to get sick.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a systemic issue and probably the right thing. I feel like Meshyf gets much more annoyed by cashiers than being grown up sick, because there's probably a frequency bias. But I'm going to say grown up sick is the
bigger beef.
The bigger beef.
All right, Red Marsh, what do you think?
Okay, I'm gonna go with the same thing. Honestly, I mean, cashiers are cashiers, but I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for people who work shitty jobs. And honestly, I couldn't care less if they're too uninformed to know how a machine works. I personally think that being grown up sick is like one of the worst things in the world, because of not only, okay, a lot of jobs you're not getting paid. And even if you are getting paid, you have all these other responsibilities, like Meshyf said, especially if you're like a real grown up and you have kids and you're married and all this other stuff. But on top of that, it makes so much sense to like that you have to over exaggerate like how sick you are. Like I had my boss who, like, I was literally laying on the ground for 2 days straight. I was so sick in my bathroom because I couldn't lay on the ground or on my bed because of the having to go, to the bathroom, getting up, all that stuff. And he was like, I mean, are you sure you can't come in? Like literally could not move more than a couple feet every like 5 hours. And it's just like, you have to make this whole thing, you have to go into detail, like, yes, I threw up all over the place and, all this stuff. So that's my personal opinion. Grown up sick is worse, but I'm going to go with the same thing, that the cashiers are Meshyf's bigger beef.
So, but your personal choice is grown up sick for both of you guys. But you're anticipating that Meshyf's bigger beef is cashiers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about you, James?
I haven't really had to deal with cashiers all that often because, like, what I like doing is that whole, like, pay on the phone and then just pick it up. It's there. You don't even have to talk to the dude. You're just like, this is my order. Should be done. But I understand where Meshyf is coming from. But being sick at work, I can empathize with that because I worked in the dish room. And if I was sick, I couldn't just be like, oh, I can't show up, because I know my boss would be like, James, you know how it is in the dish room. We need you in there. One less person, it's not going to work. And I knew if I stayed home, just because I was feeling like the onset of something was coming, it was just going to ruin everyone else's day. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll tough it out. I can handle it in the dish room. But then being feverish, and now you're in a super hot and steamy enclosed space, just makes it 10 times worse. So that's my personal beef.
See, This one's actually kind of hard for me. And my cushy, the reason for it is one of the benefits of my job as a software developer, because it's such a competitive market, is that like the perks are pretty like, I don't know how to explain it, but like they're really concerned with making sure people stay happy. And so like we have a full kitchen stocked with snacks. You know, we have energy drinks like on demand. Like we literally have just like boxes full of energy drinks and coffee on tap. And so like because of the whole because they have to compete with people like Google and Facebook and whatever. So like customer like or employee satisfaction is really important because the job is so you sit in a chair and look at code all day. So they have to find other ways to like kind of keep people satisfied and engaged or whatever. Along with that, most software companies don't even have sick time. They have vacation and personal time. And I've never been asked personally. I don't even have to say I'm sick. I can just say, hey, I'm taking the day off. I got to deal with some stuff. And my boss is like, cool, whatever. As long as I'm meeting my deadlines, I've never been questioned about like how sick I am or so like I personally in my current career cannot relate with that. So like I know that's going to make me sound like whatever, but I can't relate with the whole adult sick time. Like I can just tell my boss, I can be like, hey Oliver, I'm gonna take the day off. I gotta deal with some shit. He's like, all right, cool. Make sure you push those changes on Thursday when you come back or whatever. Unless there's like if there's like a server migration or an update or something, then yeah, like if I'm sick, I'll just work from home and I'll do that shit on my couch and no, we have to do this today and I'll get it done. But I can do that on a laptop remotely. So I personally cannot relate to the whole adult sick, like having to explain to my boss. Maybe in high school when I had my like IT repair job, that would have been an issue. But like currently, I don't have that problem. On the other hand, just the other day, I went through a drive-through and I dealt with the most frustrating ordering of food that I've ever experienced in my entire life. She literally wasn't paying attention to a word I said, and I had to repeat everything I said 3 times. And it was the most like I looked over at Lady Navio and I was like, she's not listening to anything that I'm saying right now. And I was losing my mind. And I know it's so fickle, but it bugged me so much that your one job is to listen to your earpiece and press a button to put the fucking shit that I just said on the screen. And I had to say it 3 or 4 times before she would actually do it. Oh, did I bump my desk? I'm sorry. Was that me?
People who come high to work. I mean, I understand. I'm just sorry. I'm just interrupting you. I
no,
apologize.
go for it.
But like, honestly, I don't like to judge, and I'm not judging like that choice. But I would say that I would perceive that person to be inebriated in some way and or actually physically sick, because they're generally speaking. People aren't that just stupid. They aren't just stupid. It's usually someone's either too tired, too sick, or too drugged out, or distracted by something else.
Don't underestimate stupidity.
I mean, I understand that, but like, I would say that if they're in that job and they've been in that job for a while, I find it hard to believe that all of a sudden they became ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
And they would get fired if they were that bad with every customer. Most likely.
All right. So I personally right now, because of recent experiences, would have to go with cashier. Redmarsh and ThatTwoTall have both said adult sick. And James, what was yours?
Personally, adult sick.
Adult sick. So I am in the minority here. Due to recent experiences, I would have to say cashier is my bigger beef currently. So let's see what we're dealing with here. Let's go back to our Meshyf beef. I'm at 513. Let me switch back to my media view here. I almost just choked on my own tongue, but that's okay. All right, 513 on go. We'll do 1, 2, 3, go. Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3, go.
And welcome back to Sheefs Beef. We're bringing you the beef. And now, the beefiest beef of the beef week with Meshyf. Final beef is...
Yes.
Sick. What
The
a
guests
fucking
win.
nightmare that is. Okay? If you're sick and you're a grown-up, man, my heart goes out to you because you're dealing with some crap. Even just a small headache or a small cold or whatever, it sucks. And if you got a real illness, like something really bad is going on in your life, that's even worse. Okay? Fuck what everyone has to say. Tell your boss, I ain't coming in. Get better. Don't get everyone else at the office sick and have this endless cycle of sick people and dealing with if it's okay to call out or not. Just take care of you and get it over with. Because you need to get better. You got shit you got to do. You're a grown-up. So that's why being grown-up sick is the beef of the week.
Nice. Love it. Thank you, Meshyf, for giving us another episode of Sheefs Beef. Always appreciated. I saw a comment. By the way, guys, I know I've said this a couple times, but just to set the expectation, generally on podcasts, we don't interact with chat as much. Occasionally, we'll pick out a comment, but it's really about the discussion between us. We appreciate you guys being here and chatting with each other, but we won't always be as responsive with chat, so I hope that's okay. But I did just see a comment that reminded me of an experience. That Bishop girl said, what if the cashier was adult sick? And this is a very real issue that I think we should talk about, because I have a personal experience. There was a restaurant in my hometown growing up, and this restaurant was called... I forget what it was called, but it was an Italian restaurant. It was Papa something. Papa Giorgio or Papa something. No, Papa Rico's. It was called it wasn't Papa John's. It was a locally owned sit-down restaurant. It was called Papa Ricchio's. And the whole theme of the place was a speakeasy, right? So, like, you walk in the front and there's just, like, a clerk sitting at a desk with, like, not a suit, what's a pantsuit or a dress suit? It was a girl sitting at the counter. And when you walk in, there was a sign on the door that said, ask for Papa, or say Papa sent you. And so you'd say, hey, I'm looking for Papa. And she'd hit a button under the desk and the bookshelf would slide over and there was a restaurant behind it. It was really cool. It was like straight up like a speakeasy type, and they would do murder mystery nights. All the servers were super rude. Like they all had like pinstripe mafia suits on with like slicked hair and like, yeah, what do you want? You know, like that. It was like it was a theme restaurant and it was like speakeasy style. I love that place. My parents took me there 2 or 3 times as a kid. Absolutely loved it. Guess what happened? They had a cook in their kitchen who had hepatitis, one of them. I don't know, A, B, C. I forget which one. But I guarantee you he tried to call in sick and his boss was like, nope, got to come in. And Meshyf, do you remember this place? It was in our hometown. It was called Papa Ricchio's. It was on Coffee. You know, over like where the Rollerama is by the freeway? It's not there anymore because it went out of business. But yeah, so I remember talking to my friend Blair in high school. She was like, yeah, did you go there between this date and that date? If so, she's like, I had to go get a hep shot. Because like this fucking cook went into work sick with hep, whatever which one, I don't remember. And like, so the place got shut down and a bunch of people who ate between this time period are like, yeah, you might want to go get a shot because... So that's what happens. That's what happens when you force people in low-level service positions to come in sick and work, because like you're putting other people at risk too. And so yeah, that is absolutely. It's kind of a combination of the two. It wasn't a cashier, but it was a person working in a entry-level service cook position whose boss probably said, no, fuck you, you got to come in, I don't care if you're sick. And as a result, the whole, like, everybody had, like, everyone had to go get shots. The place got shut down. There was like they did like a whole, there was like articles in the newspaper. It was a mess. So yes.
It's always the one person you trust not to poison your food.
Yeah. So no, they're both beefy for sure. There's beef all around. Those were good topics. I liked them.
Just a little medical insight here. It was probably Hep A, because Hep A and E are the ones that transmit from like basically your mouth and your ass. And you think like vowels are like A and E out your ass, something like that. Vowels, everything.
I will never forget that.
Everything else is blood. So like probably if he was like coughing and sneezing on your food, that's like the only time you'd get Hep A. Or unless he had Hep C and just started like bleeding all over your food. So either way, maybe slightly concerned.
Bleeding.
No, that's just tomato sauce, boss. Don't worry about it.
Hopefully it wasn't bleeding on our food, but you never know.
I bleed from my ears once a month. That's a thing that runs in my family. Don't worry, it's fine.
Do you also speak in tongues?
That too.
Yeah.
It also runs in my family. How did you know?
Do occasionally like just thousands of locusts just fly through your living room and?
That's true. Yeah. No. How do you know my life? I don't understand.
I saw a documentary. It's called The Exorcist.
Oh, geez. Oh, maybe I should get exercise.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that maybe that's not the right word?
Yeah, no, you just gotta get a gym membership.
Yeah,
take it
exactly.
just take care of that. And that, folks, is a pun.
Hey.
We're gonna hit a couple of these topics that we talked about. So, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but No Man's Sky is still a thing. Did you guys know that they're still updating that game because everyone's still mad at them for promising all the things that they couldn't deliver?
Did
you know? Did anyone know?
I actually did, because I have one friend who still plays it and is defending it as a great game. Apparently, in its current state, it's a perfectly adequate, enjoyable, playable game. Nah, I'm not gonna try it.
So here's the deal. In 6 days, there's another huge update coming out that's bringing full multiplayer, which they promised. They did promise from like day one eventually. And then they were like, no, there's no multiplayer. So they're bringing full multiplayer and procedurally generated stuff. So they're still trying to make so. I saw a comment on Reddit about this, and it was interesting. He said basically what they did was they came out with an early access game on Sony.
Full release.
Full release early access game without letting anyone know that it was actually early access. But I only bought a PS4 for No Man's Sky. Thankfully, PS4 is rad, even though No Man's Sky... Hey, I don't think this is a paid... I think it's a free update.
It is.
So I wanted to check out this trailer and decide, because when the original trailer for No Man's Sky came out, it had a whole bunch of shit in it, and none of it came true. So I wanted to check out this trailer and see if what we think, if this is actually stuff that's already developed in the game or if it's just more empty promises. Hopefully they learned their lesson, because they're showing underwater level. Look, right off the bat, they're showing you like a full-blown underwater level with multiplayer. There's 2 dudes swimming around. There's 3 dudes. So there's like a whole team of dudes just running around together underwater. And then they pop out of the water. Now they're in the world, interacting with stuff. They're farming. I mean, this looks like a badass game. Because I remember when No Man's Sky was released, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll be able to explore endless worlds with my friends with procedurally generated worlds and monsters. And
see, my issue though is like, out of all the stuff they got, because like I of course watched those like super cuts of like the guy saying all the things you can do in the game, and then you obviously couldn't do any of that.
So here he
like-
goes, flying from the planet
Yeah,
into
it's like
space.
you should have been able to do that stuff on launch.
Yep. But they are like there is something to be said for the fact that like they could have just buried their heads in the sand and just like never touched the game again and been like, oops, my bad, we already got your money. They are trying still to deliver on their initial promises. Now, that being said, they should never have promised those things from day one release, but I don't know, like the fact that they are kind of like still trying to get there.
No, I'll absolutely give them credit, because I feel like most other developers would be like, well, time to make another game because we already got the money.
Right.
But yeah, so something to be said for that. But you know, they're definitely just dealing with like guilt and backlash and like
That's what Meshyf said. He said guilt
Oh, there you
updates.
go.
They're avoiding a lawsuit.
Was it-
Honestly, I don't own the game. I never bought it because I don't buy pre-releases. I always wait and see. I'll wait like 6 months to a year before I buy a game. And by then it's like, 30% off. And I'm like, okay, they worked out all the kinks and then I'll buy it. That's like my MO generally. I don't buy stuff new very often. But now, like after this trailer, I'm like, I might buy this game. Like I think it's finally at a point where I could consider maybe buying it for $20.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but like again, I'd if the initial release was awful and this is supposed to be like we're gonna fix everything, like you doubly wait for reviews then.
No, if I had bought the game like day one or pre-release, I'd be pissed. But I'm coming from a different perspective because I never bought the game, but now it kind of looks cool. So like, I don't know.
I would say that I would probably, someone being frugal, accounting and all that, and not everybody who's an accountant is frugal, but I definitely lean towards that. I would wait until I heard anything about it. I never bought No Man's Sky. I heard all the hype. I was like super hyped about it, but I didn't have any money to buy it, so I'm super glad I didn't. But it looks amazing, but it looks like, I feel like there's probably things they could add to it after they release this update, to be honest. It's such a huge project that was like legitimately impossible for them to do in such a short amount of time. And it's ridiculous for them to say, oh, we could do all this stuff. We're essentially making Minecraft, but with a gajillion worlds that you can just fly to places, multiplayer, with amazing graphics and alien procedurally generated animals.
I mean, it's a lot, but they've had years now to fix it.
And watch, Minecraft is still Minecraft. It's just a bunch of blocks with
Hey,
shit
man.
painted on it.
There's depth, though. Minecraft is... How many animals are there in Minecraft now?
They've added quite a bit.
And
There's
like
a whole slew
programmable
of
blocks.
underwater
and-
ones now.
It's depthy, that's for sure. That's for sure. I'm just saying that they're trying to outdo a game that is one of the highest grossing games of all time, Minecraft, but like exponentially make the game better than it, which is...
But it has space
makes
travel,
no
dude.
sense. I know. What I'm saying is I feel like they tried to make a game better than anyone else was even possibly capable of doing in like a short span of time.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. When this update comes out on the 24th, I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to watch some streams. I'm going to read some reviews. If they deliver on this new set of promises that they're making, I might, if I can find it for like $15, $20, I might actually buy it. But it's definitely going to be a wait and see thing. I'm going to see if they because it could be another case of empty promises.
No
So-
Man's Sky is still full price.
No man buy. Hey.
Like-
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll wait till, either on like PS, maybe it'll be on PS Plus, or it'll be, I'll find it at GameStop for like used for like 40% off. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm gonna pay $60 for it, but if I can find it for like $20, I recently bought Horizon, by the way. The Horizon Full Edition for PS4, I recently bought that because it has all of the DLC and stuff. I just started and it's fucking. I don't know if anyone's played Horizon. That game is pretty fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's like the new Zelda game with more depth.
Depthy.
Horizon Zero
How
Dawn.
deep does it go?
Well, because like Zelda, other than the cooking and like finding random weapons, like you hit the temples and like you kind of build up your character. Horizon Zero Dawn, yeah, that one.
Okay.
For PS4. That game, I just bought it. I've been playing it for a couple days, and I'm loving it. It's been really enjoyable. The narrative's pretty good. I don't know. I will see. I might actually finally bite the bullet, and I don't think I'm gonna buy a capture card right now, but I've seen a couple people use the PS4. They have the thing where you can stream it to your PC and play games through your PC, and then you can capture that and stream that way.
Yeah.
I might do that with Horizon because I'm having a lot of fun playing it, and I want to keep playing it, but I also want to keep streaming. So I might play Horizon on stream. We'll see.
You should do it. You should do it. I would watch that.
Yeah.
But I've heard good things. I have like an ex-best friend, still close friend, who I watched play for like a bajillion hours because that's just what he does. People come over to his house and he just keeps playing video games. But that's another story. But I mean, he seemed to love it, and this was like before a lot of DLC came out. So I would say that I mean, go for it, man. It looks amazing, honestly.
So for those who don't know, the general premise of the game is that it's in the future, but I don't know, like I haven't played it enough to figure out what happened, but it's kind of like post-apocalyptic in the sense that like there was technology, and then now it's kind of gone back to like almost like a Indian tribal society where but there's still technology remnants, and there's like robot dinosaurs just wandering the lands, and then like you'll come across this underground cave, but it's not a cave because it's like an office. Like there's desks and old computers that don't work anymore and stuff. So like there's obviously there was an advanced technology that built all this technology, and there was an advanced community that built technology, but then we don't know why, but for whatever reason they don't exist anymore, but there's remnants of that technology.
Could you postulate that their downfall was making a bunch of robot dinosaurs?
They very well could be the case. But I haven't gotten that far. Like I don't know what. Like I'm still picking up the pieces. So like,
But if
you play a character. The main character is a female character who grew up in this world, this post-apocalyptic world where there's robot dinosaurs now, just kind of randomly. There's still normal. Like there's bunny rabbits and turkeys and shit, but then there's also like every once in a while like a robot dinosaur just walks by and you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill that, and you're like, it doesn't make any sense, and I'm sure that that's gonna be explained what happened and all that stuff, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I may end up streaming it. James, your turn. Ready? Did you read this article? Because I'm gonna ask you about it.
Which article?
This one. The Culling 2. Explain why that game just fucking
Oh,
died day
Culling
one.
2. Wow, that was something, all right. So, in case people didn't know.
By the way,
Culling-
real quick, before you go into
Okay, yeah,
detail, Smoshy, thanks for being here. I saw that you just hosted me. We're doing our Wednesday night podcast. Welcome anyone from Smoshy. How do you say his name? I don't know. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Go.
Okay.
You're gonna tell us
so
why
in
the
case-
Culling
in
2
case you
is a
didn't know,
terrible game.
The first Culling started out really good, and it slowly drove itself into the ground. Then all of a sudden, the Culling 2 appeared, and people were like, wait a minute, this is happening? And then it got released, and no one bought it. And it's a battle royale game that takes 100 players, and no one bought it. So if you buy it, it doesn't work. So Steam was offering free refunds to all 20 people that purchased it.
Can I elaborate on this for you?
Yes.
This is great because I saw a little bit of this. So it got released on like a Tuesday or something, The first trailer for the game came the following Thursday. First news of the game came after the release.
So they released it, and they didn't even have a trailer for the game until 2 days later.
The peak player base was 300, and that lasted a day. And the average player base went down to 8. Which again, what James said, you can't play with less than 100 people. So there you go. Game alive and dead in a week.
Yeah, right here it says the Culling 2 has been canceled just 8 days after launching on Steam. Jesus. So this is, I mean, it didn't even do as well as Radical Heights or whatever the fuck they. I know a couple weeks ago on the podcast we talked about Radical Heights. We were joking about that, but like everyone's just doing whatever they can to money grab the shit out of Battle Royale right now.
But then the craziest thing, the dev said, all right, this bombed so badly that we're going back to the Culling one. We're reverting a bunch of these patches and we're making the game closer to how it originally was. But at this point, it's like, who still wants to play this?
Does the Culling cost money?
Yes. The Culling, when it came out, you probably would have liked it because it was more similar to the Darwin project than other battle royales like PUBG and Fortnite.
Okay.
It was more you run around, you could craft items. There's like these small drone airdrops that you can call in, and it took itself less seriously.
It was legit like straight out of the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I made the Hunger Games comparison to Darwin Project a couple weeks ago on the podcast. Because a lot of people, when they think of Battle Royale, that's kind of the image that you get. Like, you're dropped into this world. And the way that Darwin Project is more like the Hunger Games is the fact that there's a director who can, like, close areas and kind of do shit like that. So, the Culling, I never played it. It was kind of on my radar. I knew about it because they had they did a couple promotional videos or streams with, like, a couple celebrities. Who was it? Like Snoop Dogg? There were like someone there was like some weird, like really weird cross promotion with like some celebrities or something playing the Culling. And then I went and looked it up on Steam and it cost money. And I was like, nope. Like that because that's the problem, right? Ooh, drop those eyes, daddy.
Sorry, I have chronic dry eye, so.
No, I have, look right here. You don't have to tell me twice. Look, I'm the same way. If I don't have my eye drops nearby, I definitely start to feel it.
I have like a panic attack when I realize that I got to work and I don't have eye drops. Or
No,
like
I brought
on a trip and I don't have eye drops. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yep, you gotta go to the store and get some eye
2
drops. But we talked about this last week on the or 2 weeks ago on the podcast. It's too late. Unless your game is free, you're going to fail. If you're going to come out with a battle royale right now and you're going to charge $20, $30, whatever for it, you can't. Like it's just not.
Battle Royale has effectively it has a king winner at this moment, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Like Fortnite's developers are doing such a good job of keeping that game fresh and interesting. Like, people don't want to go play. I mean, like, Realm Royale is getting a little bit of traction. But
Realm
still,
Royale is just the biggest ripoff I've ever seen, I think.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
free though.
Anything.
Yeah, definitely. But it's free and it seems like it's entertaining in its own way. But like, you're not going to get people to pay $30 or $20 for a battle royale game because they go, oh, we got, we're covered, we're good. Nah.
Yeah, unless it's free and it does something unique that isn't already being done, you're not gonna like. I enjoy Realm Royale specifically because I don't like the building mechanic of Fortnite, and it's free.
I think the building mechanic is the coolest part about the game.
Oh, definitely. But I think that's like the polarizing feature of Fortnite is that it's
oh yeah, for sure.
You
either love it or you hate it.
Yeah,
and I think Realm Royale is smart because. Sorry, go ahead, James.
I was gonna say a lot of people I've seen that are playing more Realm Royale. It's because they enjoy the class-based and the ability combat compared to Fortnite and the building. It captures that other niche market that was stuck in Fortnite that wasn't available in a different game.
Right, it's a unique. There's something unique about it, and it's free. The reason Darwin Project failed is it had unique mechanics, but they charged like what was it, $20 or $30?
Yeah,
Like 15 or $20. So like if Darwin Project would have been free day one,
I got it for free actually, off of like this tiny like minor beta program thing. I honestly think it was an error. And I got it for free. That's
what I'm saying. Like, if Darwin Project would have been free day one, because it had the unique mechanic with the bow and arrow and the axe and the crafting mechanics, if it would have been free day one and they just had like skins or whatever, like some other way to monetize it, it wouldn't have failed. But they were trying to charge $20. So like, I loved that game, and I tried to convince my community to buy it, and everyone's like, "Fuck that! It's $20."
Yeah.
And there's no way that game was destined to fail from day one because they were charging money in a market that was saturated, where the Fortnite was free to play already. Like,
I really like Darwin too.
I know, I love Darwin Project.
It was not worth the money. It's really good. It's
free
not as
now,
good
but
as
it's too
Fortnite,
late.
but
It's too
really
little,
good.
too late.
Oh, they went to free?
Yeah, it's free to play now.
Too
Wow.
late.
Yep. You woulda, coulda, shoulda.
That's what Realm Royale did right. They were free to play, and they had 2 or 3 unique mechanics that were different than Fortnite. So, like, people that didn't like the building of Fortnite are like, okay, cool, there's this class-based game that has a crafting mechanic and whatnot. Like, I love Realm Royale. Like, if I had to choose between Fortnite and Realm Royale, I'll play Realm Royale because I enjoy what it has to offer more.
You realize why it's class-based though, right? It's the stupidest, most random amalgamation of like ripping off multiple games at the same time that's ever existed. They started with Paladins.
Yeah,
and they
wasn't it originally
Overwatch.
called Paladins Royale or Paladins?
No, it was just Paladins, and they completely ripped off Overwatch to the point that like almost every character was like a very like a 90% copy of all the other Overwatch characters. Like there was a what's his name? The guy with the big shield?
Reinhardt.
Yeah, there was a Reinhardt. There was like everybody was in there, and it was all the abilities were copied. They didn't mix and match the abilities to make unique characters with the same abilities even. It was just the same characters, but free. But then the reason why they did the Realm Royale is so successful is because they took the Overwatch concept and smashed it into Fortnite and made a weird baby of rip-offs, and now it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it worked though, because like that's what I was saying. Originally, Realm Royale was called. I think it was actually called Paladins Royale. It was.
Oh, that would have been a mistake.
Oh yeah,
No, it was.
Paladin still exists as its own title, and then they were like, "Oh, we're making a battle royale version."
No, originally it was just a game mode for Paladins.
Yeah, I heard that.
It was. That's what it was.
Still, is it like a separate game?
No, it's a separate game entirely. That's why
Yeah.
they changed the name to Realm Royale.
Huh.
Because originally it was like I'm pretty sure it was called Paladins Royale. I'm gonna look it up, but
I'm sure if it kept that name, the traction would not be as high.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
eventually they
definitely.
broke it off into its own
Yeah.
game, but I think that's what it was called.
Paladins already had its own identity. A lot of people knew what it was, and the people who wanted to play it had already played it. So yeah, keeping that name would have been bad.
I'm looking for it right now. I remember I had it on my list originally. Oh, this one. Yeah, it was called Paladins Royale. That's what it was called before they changed it to Realm Royale. So it's probably a good decision. But I enjoyed it. In fact, I convinced I think James and me and Gator Pete, like we went pretty hard for a few days on Realm Royale. Gator Pete really
just
enjoys
sucked.
it a lot.
It sucked that we went hard on the game when the servers were really bad, and they were like, "We're adding these guns and making them really overpowered, so it's unfun to fight against them." Because they fixed all that now. Like all the guns right now, they're so nice. Each one fulfills a different like need that you want, and
Yeah.
like so much more overpowered compared to the other. Because there was a whole week where the submachine gun would just melt you in like 2 seconds, and it was hit scan. So you literally couldn't do anything against it if you were like out in the open. You would just die.
Right. Yeah, no, it was pretty gnarly there for a minute. There were a couple guns that were definitely way overpowered. But that being said, the Culling 2 is garbage. Don't play it. Pretty much the only ones worth playing right now are probably Fortnite. And there's still kind of a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. There's still enough people. That's a good game, but like, I don't know. I've never been a fan of PlayerUnknown's personally, honestly. But I like Realm Royale. If I were to play one right now, that's the one I would play personally.
I haven't played any of them other than Darwin Project.
Dude, Red Mars, let's play some Realm Royale, dude. I promise you'll like it. It's fun.
I'd play some. I want to play Fortnite, but I still haven't gotten used to keyboard and mouse, and I know that I'm gonna get owned if I try to use a controller on a PC platform. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm not gonna play it because I don't want to get owned.
I get that.
But I'll play Realm Royale with you for sure, because I'm one of those. I'm a contrarian like you probably. Where I like things that other people don't.
I don't like it if it's too popular. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. I'm a fucking contrarian.
I feel like that's just like a small streamer mindset, though. I feel
Yeah.
like that's
No, even before streaming, I was that way. I was like, so Harry Potter's popular. I ain't gonna watch him. I think it took me like 15 years before I would watch the Harry Potter movies, just because I was like, oh, this shit's popular. Fuck it, I don't want to watch it. And my fiance is the same way. That's one thing we have in common. If something becomes too popular, we're like, nah, I'm not interested.
I get that. There's definitely been a few times though, like Twitch specifically, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna play this game, and I'll go on like Twitch and I'll be like, oh wait, there's 30,000 people watching that. Nope. Smaller game.
Yeah, I think I've always been a contrarian that way.
It's also kind of sad too, because a lot of those Darwin streamers, they swap to Realm Royale, and then they just help kill Darwin even more.
Oh, that's sad.
What house are you, JimmyNavio? Are you talking about
Harry
Potter?
Potter?
Yeah. What house are you guys, by the way? If we're gonna be ultra nerds, what house are you? Show me yours, and I won't show you mine.
Are we going by the official Harry Potter house quiz?
Yes.
Of course. Is there
Not just like what you think you are, like the actual quiz.
If you go to the Potterverse, there's a real thing.
Yep. It's legit.
I don't know if I've ever done that.
This was actually a relationship requirement. Because my girlfriend's a Potterhead. It was a relationship requirement that I do all the quizzes on there to find my animal, my house, and my like wand.
Yeah.
I think I only did the house one. I didn't know there were other ones. I'm probably gonna go do those.
Those are the ones
afterwards.
They're pretty solid.
The sorting hat? What is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Where should I be going? I don't know.
Start with the sorting hat.
Fist bump Zoe. Sorry, with the chat. Ravenclaw for life.
There you go. Ravenclaw. Is there
someone have a link? I need a link.
Jimmy better not be Ravenclaw as well.
I need a link. Well, I'm going to do the survey live on the stream right now.
You should do it right now.
I don't think I've ever done this before.
All right. Does somebody have a link?
I'm looking it up.
Pottermore quiz, I think is what it is.
Pottermore. Oh, I think that's okay. Oh, hold on. Sorry. No. Oh, shit. She got banned because she posted the link. Hold on. I'm gonna make you a regular so that doesn't happen. Regulars, add that bishop girl. All right, you're regular now.
People only want to help Jimmy, and then
you can post links all day
on the spot.
You can post links all day now. There you go, Pottermore.com.
Fortunately, you have to join, but I mean,
you don't have to like confirm an email or anything, so it could be a shitter.
Yeah.
Oh wait, never mind. You do have to verify an email.
Oh, wait. Well, I thought, yeah, I don't remember. So I'll
You
just go
do
with
your-
whatever you say.
Just do your
ThatTwoTall.
email plus Pottermore. Do not use this email again at Gmail.
Yeah, I know the plus trick. Oh, you have to create an account for this shit?
Yep.
I
do it.
mean,
How else are
It's
they going to
worth-
sell you the personalized Harry Potter merch, Jimmy?
they have to send you the
Actually,
email
though.
and blah, blah, blah. I mean,
All right,
you
hold on.
want the
I'm gonna do
documentation,
this
right?
off stream real quick.
You want the receipt. I'm a Ravenclaw for reals.
You guys
Be
are
proud of me,
nerds.
Mom.
I don't even know what that means.
By the
Eh.
time I took it, it's because for some reason, so many people I had met had asked me that. And I was like, this is
It just became destiny.
yeah, it was like this is too specific to not do it by this point. So I said, screw it. I'll take the test and finally figure this out.
What are you, Hufflepuff?
No, I was also Ravenclaw. That's why I was like,
Nice.
three of us that.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Dang, hell yeah, James.
Jimmy's got to be the one to break the mold here.
Oh, I'm sure
Hold
he's
on,
either. I guarantee you, he's either Slytherin or Hufflepuff.
I'm
Which are
going.
two
Hold-
completely
give me one
different
second. I'm
houses,
going.
That's just what I feel. That's my guess.
Have you seen Jimmy's face? It's too round to be that evil. Can't be Slytherin.
He's a
My
Huffle.
first guess
He's
is
a Huffle.
Hufflepuff. My second is Slytherin, just on the off chance that he's like secretly some devious individual.
I'm pretty passive, so I don't know.
Okay, Hufflepuff. Then there we go.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
You're a Hufflepuff
And
then for
The
sure.
test itself is actually pretty good. It's not like, do you prefer being the captain of the football team, reading a book, talking to snakes, that kind of those kind of quizzes?
Talking to snakes.
All right, so where's
course.
this? Where's the actual? I'm on the website.
Yeah, it's the first one. Join your Hogwarts house.
It's
Be
actually
sorted
pretty
and
legit.
discovered.
Honestly, it's
Alright.
really well done.
All right, so am I doing the begin the experience?
Oh, here we go. Yay!
Yeah, I think it's the one on the right.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit. Moon or stars? What? Ooh, that's already a hard question.
See, it's good. It's a good quiz. Really gets in your butt.
I'm gonna have to go with stars. Let's see. Which of the following do you find more difficult to deal with? Hunger or cold or loneliness or boredom? Being ignored? Alright, here we go. What are you most looking forward to learning at Hogwarts? There's so many options.
I mean, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, just make a choice, Jimmy. If you were going to Hogwarts, what are you looking forward to?
What's your first thing? What's the best answer to this question?
I just retook it and got Ravenclaw again. It's affirmed.
Yeah.
How would you like to be
Nice.
known in history? The wise, the good, the great, or the bold?
Oh my
Prob-
god, those guys, those are so close together that it's definitely...
4 goblets are placed before you. Which
Hard to
would you
choose.
choose to drink? A foaming, frothing, silvery liquid that sparkles as though containing ground diamonds. A smooth, thick, richly purple drink that gives off a delicious smell of chocolate and plums. Ooh, chocolate and plums sounds delicious. The gold liquid so bright that it hurts the eye, which is a sunspot dance all around the room. The mysterious black liquid that gleams like ink and gives off fumes that make you see strange. Ooh, that one sounds like intoxicating. Probably this yummy one. One of our housemates has
Oh, Jesus.
cheated in Hogwarts exam by using self-spelling quill. Now it's top the. First, suspicious that what happened. He draws you to the side after lessons. What do you do? Lie and say you don't know. Tell Professor Flitwick that he ought to ask your classmate. Tell Professor Flitwick the truth. If your classmate is prepared to win by cheating, he deserves to be found out. You would not wait to be asked. You would, if you knew that somebody, you would tell. I would probably do one of these. I'd probably like leave it up to the classmate to. I wouldn't lie for them, but the classmate's gotta. He's gotta. I think I wouldn't lie for him, but I wouldn't rat on him either. It's got to be one of these two. Like he's got to come clean on his own.
Choose the one that's closest to what you would do.
I know it's hard.
Exactly.
I'm trying to figure. All right, I'm doing this one. If you were attending Hogwarts, which pet would you choose to take with you? Probably a cat. Ooh, tabby
You got
cat or a
19 other
Siamese
options.
cat?
10 options. Wait.
Jesus, what is ginger? Nah, not a gingers are only have. They don't have a soul. Probably a black cat. I'm not even gonna look at the rest. It's black cat. Left or right? Fucking right. Duh. Hufflepuff.
Oh, called it.
All right. Apparently, I'm a Hufflepuff.
Suck on my
The
titties.
question has been answered.
Thank you guys for forcing me to do the quiz because I would not have known otherwise. So wait, I must have missed this whole phenomenon. So you guys are saying that this has been a thing for a while and that like most people have taken this quiz? This is the first time I've ever taken this quiz before.
I gotta say, it's probably been around for like 10 years. Almost. Or it's been a long time because I took it like 3 or 4 years ago. And from what I could tell, it had been around for years before then.
That's super interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's one of those things that has been around for as long as like since Harry Potter's been popular. But I think like this official like quiz hasn't been around like quite as long, but it's been around pretty long.
Came out in 2011. See right there, the Bishop Girl. I'm gonna have to say that Harry Potter, the books came out when I was like a senior in high school. So this quiz has not been around as long as Harry Potter's been around. Because I remember even when the books came out, I had friends in high school that were like, "Oh, you got to read these books." The books came out in 2000. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was
7 years.
I was a senior in high school in 2002.
Dang.
I'm 34 years old, and I remember I had friends who were like, "Holy shit, you got to read these books," and I was like, "Nah, fuck it, they're too popular."
I'm gonna read
So
something else. I'm gonna read The Ranger's Apprentice.
No, I'm a nonfiction guy. I read mostly nonfiction, so there's very little fiction that I read. If it is, it's sci-fi. So
Nice.
anyway,
Yeah.
apparently I'm Hufflepuff. I don't know what that means, but I'm. Does that mean I'm nice? Am I a nice person?
Okay, click on more about my house.
It means now whenever you close your webcam to vape, you can say you're huffing LaPuff.
Oh, Jesus.
Do Hufflepuffs? Do they? Never mind.
Not canon. It's not canon, but we're pretty sure. Like there, I remember in the book.
Do they smoke? Do they smoke the ganja?
Probably. They're of the houses, they would be the ones to smoke the most.
I believe the one in charge of them was like the botanist person.
Oh,
Like, in charge of
yeah.
all the plants.
Shit, all the drugs. Synthesized. But the gist of it is kindness, goodness, compassion, caring for your fellow man, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess that sounds right. What do you got? I mean, I don't want to. It feels weird to say that about myself.
You're a Hufflepuff. Let's just.
All right.
You're a
You
dirty
got-
Hufflepuff.
You got those smiles and those cheeks.
Or a clean Hufflepuff. I don't know.
I don't think Hufflepuffs are particularly dirty. I think they're just sort of the good nature.
I mean, I do enjoy the occasional herb, but like rarely.
I think the worst crime a Hufflepuff has ever committed was eating the entire thing of Oreos in one sitting.
Yeah, they're very like goodness,
Guilty as charged.
law-abiding for the most part.
If there's milk involved, I will fucking destroy a pack of Oreos.
I love Oreos so much.
All right, man. Well, I think we're close to the end. This has been probably one of my favorite podcasts that we've done. Podcast number 10 will go down in history. You guys have been awesome. I've really enjoyed all of this. I've never taken this quiz before. I've never talked so extensively about Gungeon before.
I had a
I've
blast,
never-
dude. This was
Yeah, no.
so much fun.
This is a lot of fun.
Red Marsh, you might have to come back.
Honestly, if I'm not like forbidden, I would come back as often as you want me to, man. 'Cause this was so much fun.
Good. I'm glad.
As long as you're not tired of my voice yet, then yeah, for sure.
No,
Yeah.
no,
You're an angel.
DTF,
Yeah.
bro. Or
this was.
DTP, down to podcast.
I mean DTF and P. I mean, well, you know,
Down to fucking podcast.
we
Down to fuck and podcast.
we live by the 30% rule around here. If you don't know the 30% rule, I'll explain it later. But
Please.
most people are at least 30% gay. That's what I've decided. So
Probably.
just gonna put that out there.
Sure.
And ThatTwoTall. I'm so glad that we got to be on a podcast together.
I'm so happy we were able to fillet each other's ears with our voices.
And as usual, my co-host James28. I know he was dealing with some family background noise, but he always has plenty to contribute. James28, if you want to post your YouTube and your Twitter and stuff, let the people know. He's my trusty co-host. He's been with me from podcast number 1 up until now. He's a good dude. He's a nice guy, and he's there's a lady James out there somewhere, but he doesn't talk about her much. One of these days we're gonna find out more about the other half of James. But
Nice.
I have quite a bit of gay, that Bishop girl said. Maybe that Bishop girl will need to be a guest on the podcast so we can find out more about the...
That Bishop girl is a friend of mine, and she's definitely an interesting person worth having on the podcast.
All right.
And she is definitely a good amount gay.
See, we're bringing the truth out right now. Minnie Drew says 45%. That's bordering on 50%. So that's not quite halfway.
I would say maybe 30% gay. Like I could
this
tolerate gay
conversation.
things,
By the
but
way, this conversation
go
would
into
not
it.
have this conversation we're having right now would not have existed in 1999. The fact that we can all just admit that, like,
We just got a little gay.
Okay.
you know, like human beings are beautiful. Like a good set of titties, a good penis, a good ass. It doesn't matter. Like we're all just like, yeah, sure, why not? Like it's 2018. We can all
I'll
just
watch.
say that. You know, like beauty is beauty, skin is skin. Who gives a shit?
That's true for the most part. Yeah, most people, people aren't being murdered left and right anymore. They're being gay, which is honestly, when you say it out loud, is the most ridiculous sounding thing ever. Really.
I'm down.
I like dicks. Die.
Soon you
What?
I'm gonna murder you for liking dicks. How dare you?
Suck
So,
my
hey,
dick first, and then
by
I'll
the
kill
way,
you.
So when I end the podcast right now, I'm going to raid and host a friend of mine who is he's going to be on the podcast. I'm in communications with him. Super cool dude. He plays a lot of card games. His name is Ilyon. ILYON _ Ilyon. He's
Traps
gonna
are not gay.
I've been talking to Ilyon for a couple weeks now about being a guest on the podcast. He's a partnered streamer, super chill dude. He's into punk rock. That's his name. We're gonna raid him right now. And I think probably I have a decision to make. Either we're going to have to do a podcast on a day other than Wednesday, or we're going to have to wait until sometime in August. But he's going to be a guest on the podcast. Super, super cool dude. So when I raid him right now, make sure everybody here shows him some love. Drop a bucket. Say JimmyNavio loves you. Let's let Ilian know that he is much appreciated. Seriously, like a super nice guy. So we'll go drop a raid on Ilian right now, and I hope you guys all have a great night. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you come back next Wednesday. I'll keep you posted. If you're not in the Discord, please join the Discord so you can be up to date, because occasionally things come up. Sometimes we have to cancel or shift things around. So join the community. Come hang out. Thank you, Red Marsh. Thank you so much, ThatTwoTall. It's been a blast, and hopefully we can do more of these in the future. You guys are always welcome back. Hit me up anytime if you want to be a guest. But I think we're going to go say hi to Ilian right now. And
Sounds good.
And sell out command. Let me do that one time. If you got to buy something on make a little money on the side. If you got to buy something on Amazon, if you're buying a Humble Bundle, if you want to buy a t-shirt, use those links right there, and hope you all have a great night. Thank you for being here. Thank you, anyone who's here from the Red Marsh community or ThatTwoTall's community. I love you guys, and thank you for everything. Seriously, this has been probably one of my favorite podcasts that we've done. It's been awesome. So let's go give Ilian some love.